All right. Smooth jazz, a little jazzy on this Thursday night if you're on the East Coast, Thursday afternoon if you're on the West Coast or somewhere else in the world. Could be the next day, I don't even know. Where are we? Are we in Arizona? Are we in Phoenix, Arizona right now? That's where I wanted to be. My heart is in Phoenix, Arizona from now forward, because that's where my two favorite ladies joined forces last night. Whew. Well, I did not go. As you can tell, I'm still in the Rage Talk studio, so I was unable to attend the event. But we do have someone waiting on the line right now to spread all of the news, to spill all of the tea about what they experienced at this show. I do have to admit that I had a friend from high school who lives in Phoenix that went actually and got kicked out, because they were trying to get some shots of the audience and the stage for me before Rachel even came out. And apparently there was signage that said, and I can show you the signage, explicitly, no photography, no video, nothing. And he was like, screw that, I'm here to provide research. And the man, I guess someone tattletaled on him, and then he got told basically what this sign says, which is there are no warnings and no refunds will be given. So yeah. So all of my insight that was going to come from my close friend who is not really affiliated or understands Hollisville at all. I was like, yeah, if you could go, that would be awesome. Just get some footage. I didn't know that there's all these rules. So we lost one soldier during this event, and they had to go home in disgrace and probably save themselves, perhaps, from trauma of hearing about periods for 2 hours. But we'll never know, because he got kicked out. So, but we have someone who was there, who did survive and make it to the bitter end, and they're going to be talking to us very, very shortly. But first, I want to just recap what we're talking about. last night in Phoenix. Also, B. Haney was there. If you follow B. Haney on YouTube, B. Haney, she is going to talk about it on her channel. And then she said that she would come on my channel at some point to talk about it. So we may have to have a B. Haney collab. We had one. I was on her channel one time and we got along really well. So we've been trying to figure out something to do together. So this is the force. Rachel Hollis forces more friends to connect once again. But Heidi was there. If you were waiting for that answer, Heidi Powell was in the audience, okay? But apparently she had to wait in the line. And apparently she was not that close. She was not like VIP or backstage during the show or anything. She seemed pretty far back, and we're going to go through her Instagram in a second. And apparently there was no acknowledgement from Rachel about Heidi being there. There was no like, come up on stage, girl, give me a hug. From what I've heard, it was just like, Heidi's there as an audience member. It's still unknown if there was collaboration between the two of them. My guess is that there was, but I don't know that for sure. And so we're going to just look really quick and see what's going on Heidi's page. So kind of not cryptic, I don't think is the right word, but like a little bit confusing. Perhaps. Uh-oh, come on, Heidi. I won't survive if I can't watch your stories every second of my life. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. Oh, thank you. Welcome, Albanese. Also, Josephine Henry. Thank you. Josephine Henry says, picked a hippo character, repeatedly points to the streamer while chanting, get good. It's very specific. Oh.
I'm super freaking privileged.
You could hear that, right?
I'm super freaking privileged.
That should be a rap. I'm super freaking privileged. Also, Josephine Henry, this is also for you preemptively.
Get your hearts ready.
I hope your heart is already ready. And I'm going to open up the member chat in just a second if you're writing stuff. Okay, so we want to catch up here. Okay, she's selling her gas relief or whatever. Okay, now here's where it starts. This is from this morning. So 8 hours ago, just says about last night. Now this is where Heidi takes photos, allegedly. I don't know if this to be true, but she takes photos specifically in the garage, you know, as opposed to like her bedroom or her actual home, because the Tesla that is behind her allegedly was owned by Dave Hollis. So the internet believes, Reddit believes that, and I sort of agree to, that this is a way to show the internet that is curious about the status of the Tesla left behind by Dave in her house. It still remains in her garage. So, yeah. So I guess she still has the garage. And then her son is there, her 18-year-old son, says, quote, remember who you are and what you stand for. Okay, I don't know why she would have to know that before going to a Rachel Hollis comedy hour, but okay, apparently. Welcome, Lisa B. But the caption below says Maddox as he walks me out to my car like the gentleman he is. Okay. Okay, now here she is going to the venue. Solo date number 4, bring it. Okay, so then it's a song. Where am I go? Okay, and now here we go. Now it says, I may have arrived solo, but I didn't enjoy solo. Met some of the most amazing, of course, the most amazing, I'm sure they were, most amazing women last night. Thank you to all of you who came and gave me hugs. Hashtag team dating ourselves. Okay, here we go.
Come on in.
I'm here by myself. By ourselves.
What are you doing here by yourself?
What are you doing here by yourself? Why
We're here because we're on a date by ourselves because of Heidi.
Ready to see you.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so they're on a date by themselves. Is it a date if you're out by yourself, or is it just you existing? I don't know. You can date yourself. And then, okay, now she's in the audience. But as I said, she's not that close. She's kind of far back on the side. Like she didn't get there fast enough, I guess. And the caption says, and for all those wondering, it was quite amazing. She was amazing. And she never names Rachel ever, by the way. Very funny, like stand-up comedy could be her future, with such a beautiful blanket of encouragement and wisdom, reminding everyone of their enoughness, though very relatable. Oh, I think it's supposed to mean through relatable, very relatable, hashtag relatable stories. Okay, is she trolling? What do you think? Do you think she's trolling with that relatable word right there? That's Rachel's favorite, most infamous word, relatable. Where's my thing? Oh, there it is.
I want to be relatable.
If you want to laugh and also cry, either alone or with your besties, this is the place to do it. Okay, an event that has already passed. Got it. There she is. Yeah, good point, Emily. Maybe they kicked him out because he's a man. I didn't even think about that. I guess I should have thought about that as I talked about it for over an hour last week, or on Tuesday, I mean. I wonder, because the other people recorded secretly. Maybe they were more stealthy. Good point. And then we have some of these friends. Now, these are just random people that took, they took photos with Heidi after the show was over, I guess. So Heidi was the one in the, take a picture with me mode, more so than Rachel, apparently. And I looked and I clicked through some of these profiles, and a lot of them are life coaches. I own a virtual assistance business. I'm a inspiration coach. And basically the captions are from Heidi, and it says, truly the best night meeting so many wonderful women. So wonderful meeting you too. Thanks for saying hello. So glad we got to spend an incredible night laughing together. And the people that are commenting back are saying nice things. Like this person says, it was so nice to meet you. Tony has said so many great things about you. You are awesome. And this one says, also, we got to sneak a picture with Heidi and this other person. She's even more incredible in person, friendly, fit, and fun. My favorite trainer and protein shakes transform I've had over the years. And then Heidi, we came because of you. We came to see Rachel Hollis because of you. Girls Night Out. So it seems like Heidi's, last minute marketing ploy to get extra tickets for Rachel Hollis's, show worked. Because that was my suspicion, that she was going to post this thing. It was going to shock everybody, and they were going to go to see if any sparks happened. But apparently they did not. And this is a long one. This is from the woman that was in the front. She's some sort of coach, transformation coach or something. It says, date night with myself. Bought my ticket at 5 p.m. Show started at 7 p.m. and so happy I did because I had lots of much needed laughs seeing Rachel Hollis live. The icing on the cake, though, was running into the woman who inspired me to go, Heidi Powell. Thanks for being you. You are so genuine, beautiful, and what a joy it was being your friend for the night. Wish we got a pic together, but the best pic I have will always be in my heart. Seeing the line of women stopping to take pics with you and uplifting you as you embrace your life so beautifully, that was the thing for me that was incredible to witness. Keep being you, girl. Like, she was an audience member at a comedy show. Like, what is she? She's embracing people? Like, what is this? It's so bizarre. Like, I knew this was going to happen. Like, everyone kind of predicted this was going to happen, but still, it's like, if you were to go, it's like a celebrity was to go to an event, and I'm not saying Heidi's a celebrity, but like, let's say a celebrity did go to an event. Would everyone post pictures and be like, it was so great seeing, Shaquille O'Neal at this Celine Dion concert? Like, just like, are you missing the point? Like, they're like, yeah, Rachel was there on stage, whatever. But Heidi was inspiring from sitting in the audience. And then Heidi posts a caption, says, I am so glad you landed next to me at those entrance doors. You are meant to be my new friend date last night, and I couldn't have loved our time together more. Thank you for the kindest words. You really are a bright light. Okay, just seems a little extreme, but whatever. Like, I struggle making friends. Maybe it's because I treat everyone like, don't talk to me. So, it could be that. But before I go any further into the Heidi lore and to any of that, I want to talk to someone who is actually there, and we have them on the line. So no, they're not going to use their face. We're only going to use audio because this is a secret stealth operation. Like I said, my friend got literally talked to by the manager and then kicked out of the venue. So we're not going to take any chances. We're going to be secretive, okay? So are you still there? Our secret interview. Wait, can you hear me? Am I muting you? Hold on. Hold on. Maybe. How do I unmute? Oh, no. Oh, no. Are you still there? You may have to come back into the room. I'm going to release you and then come back, okay? Okay, she'll be back. She was allowed there. But we talked in advance. There. Okay. Let's see. Hello. Are you there now? Girl. It worked before. Dang. Okay. Let's see. We talked before and it was on this one. Are you muted for some reason? Oh, actually, hold on. Let me do something. Now, are you there now?
There we go.
Yay! Okay, hold on. Let me applause myself.
Yeah, because I can see it muted on your end.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't do a clear. That's the problem.
I know. Actually, let me, just for the sake of the future microphones.
Clear.
There you go. Now we're set. Now we're never going to have another technical issue again.
Okay.
Well, welcome to the show. This is our first live call-in interview, and I'm very excited.
Oh, thanks maybe this will be
here.
a new thing.
Yes. Oh my God, it could be Ask Rach, but ask Kia about Rach or something.
There you go.
Or I ask about Rach to you. Okay, so when did you decide to go? What was your thoughts? Was it a last minute, Heidi Powell's going, I'm going to go?
Oh,
or
yeah.
have you planned?
It's okay. So I am on Reddit. So I did post a bunch of stuff. Just a quick thing. I know people were saying, well, why didn't Heidi get kicked out? If you look at the video, that is the very last second. Rachel's picking up her stuff and walking off.
Okay.
So
you're allowed to maybe get one in, because my friend was there early. I'll show you the infamous shot, because it was right before, it was before she even came out of the venue. He showed the menu, and then it was a pan up. It was 7 seconds that ruined the night. Hold on, here it goes.
Yeah, no, Heidi did it after Rachel was already done. So that,
okay,
I guess, is why, because, you can see her, she's picking it up and walking away. But
okay, fair enough.
No, I had no plans to go. I was actually at Stand Up Live last week for my birthday and
nice.
saw the Rachel Hollis sign, and it was I just chuckled. My husband was there. He doesn't understand Hollisville. And then when I saw Heidi was going, I'm like, okay, my husband is out of town. I have my most of my kids are grown. I got nothing to do. This might be fun. So I posted on Reddit saying I might do it. And people were like, please, please, please. So I'm like, okay, sure. I got $100 to blow between drinks and ticket and fees, and why not? So I bought the ticket Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. Tuesday morning, about 7 a.m. I hadn't had coffee yet. It was I just made a spur decision. And
were you up at 4 a.m. buying this ticket?
No, not quite that early, but
okay, that was the problem. Try harder next time.
Yeah, I know. I got to get that morning routine down.
Yes. Okay, so you buy the ticket Tuesday, you go. So you said it became $100. So the ticket was what, 35 plus fees?
35,
right?
Add the fees, it became $44.15. I was able to find really cheap parking, so it was only $10 for parking.
Okay.
2 drinks, of course, with tip and everything, was over $30. So
what did you get to drink, if you don't mind me asking?
I had them make me a special strawberry lemonade in the beginning, and then girls around, because I wasn't going to drink, and then girls around me had Prosecco, and I was like, ooh, you know what? That Prosecco would be really good in the lemonade. And so those were my 2 drinks. Yep.
Did you see the Rachel Hollis specialty menu that was there?
I did. I actually have a copy in my purse. I stole one.
Okay. I'm assuming the venue made these. They
do, because they did the exact same thing for Brad Williams. I've got a Brad Williams one as well. He's, if you don't know, he's a dwarf comedian, but he's really, really funny. My husband loves him. So
nice. Now, do they have themed drinks too for that show as well?
His were Fun Size, Daddy Issues, Coming Up Short, Hi Ho, and then they also had the Massive Margarita.
Okay. So you think that Brad came up with those and gave them to the venue, or the venue does the joke?
No, because if you look at Rachel's first one, Well, I don't know. Maybe the venue did, but it's the first one is on Brad's is the vodka, ginger beer, raspberry lime.
Okay.
The second one is the coconut rum, blue currant. So obviously these are
The same
standard drinks, and they just cater to the headliner, I guess.
Okay. Because at first I was like, why in the world would they call it 3% chance when that story is based on Dave basically not believing in Rachel? And that sort of was like the inside joke or like the inspiration because he didn't believe that she could get a book deal. So having that one on there as like a melon fruit punch, I'm like, that's an odd choice, but okay.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that she would have given that name, only because I still feel she's gonna dig. I just but no, it's the same menu. They just I don't know how they pick their names.
Okay, I'll give her a pass on this one because I feel like it might be not her fault, but
but she also weird. She specifically chose venues that would do alcohol, she said.
Yes.
So that's more what I think is tack. I mean, okay, the 3% chance, I get it. She's trying to be funny, but it's like, dude, your ex-husband overdosed and had alcohol problems, and it's been 4 months.
And she's talked about being an alcoholic, and she's used that as a, oh my gosh, like I've overcome so much. I was overweight. I was an alcoholic. Like, they all come up with this sob story that may or may not be true. But then she promotes alcohol as if it's like the most fun, amazing parenting tool, in the world. And it's like very bizarre.
Yeah. Mommy juice.
Juice. And but she wasn't drinking on stage, right? You said?
No. It was she did make a joke that she wished it was vodka or something about vodka, but no, it was one of those Death Wish.
Death Wish.
What were they called?
Liquid death. I think the water.
That's what it is.
Death Wish. That's what my friend had taking a video. Okay, so all right, so there was a line outside. I saw that on Reddit. How many people do you think would you guesstimate were there total?
At least 300. I know the venue, when I went, Brad Williams sold out at 500.
Okay.
She's probably between 350, 400. She did not sell out. There were more people at Brad Williams when I was there, and that was on a Thursday night. So, and I know he sold out all her shows, but she did well. I mean, I was shocked how many people were there. Lots of people cheered when she came out on stage. They were all happy to be there. If there were a bunch of snarkers, I didn't see them.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt the same way in Cincinnati for her last tour. There was a lot of empty seats for sure, but I was still surprised at how many were filled and how many of them seemed to be there unironically supportive and were sort of into it the whole time. I was like, oh my God, like I know that exists, but it still shocks me to see it in person. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like you're real.
And it was a little difficult because the ladies at my table was like, oh, are you a fan of Rachel Hollis? And
no, I just stumbled in off the street.
I was just like, well, my husband's out of town, and I've heard a couple of her podcasts. I didn't want to say how I heard them, and I'm trying to make new friends because I was born and raised in Arizona, moved away, have come back, and I don't really, I've got family here, but not friends. That's why I went alone. So I'm like, meet new people. Rachel says it's a marketing. You're gonna meet like-minded people and make new relationships. I didn't get any of their phone numbers, so I guess I failed.
And that's on you.
Yeah.
Self-care a little harder next time. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's not set up that way from what I can tell in this venue and from my experience. It's a performance. You're going to see a performance. How many times do you walk away from a performance, whether you're alone or with people, where you're like getting new friendships? Like, I think it could happen, of course, but in reality, the situation is not, set up that way. There's no, I don't know, interaction points. You're just walking to a seat and then it's dark. It's like going to a movie and like trying to meet people. It's like, that's not the place to do it, even though they advertise every time. Okay, so you get seated, and it was like just random seats. You don't buy your own seats. It's just first come first serve, right?
They have a big seating chart. Ask how many is in your party, and then they'll place you based on whatever. So these people were 3 friends, so there was 1 extra seat at their table. So that's where I was put. And I was actually really happy because I wasn't in the first section by the stage, but I was in the second, but I was right by that door because I was going to look to see if Heidi was walking in.
That was my next question. Did you see her? And when did you see her?
I saw her as soon as she came in. So basically, they 7:00, they have these places have it down to a science. 7:00, they close the doors, so you can still come in, but it's obviously so there isn't light coming in. Close the doors, lights in the theater go down, and then they start showing a commercial for, hey, this comic is coming, buy your tickets, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. It was within the first 15 seconds of the reel that Heidi walks in, and she pretty much walks right in front of me. Actually, if I can point out when she's doing her little pan at the end, I can see the back of my head.
Interesting.
Because I knew, so she ended up being diagonally behind me. And there were girls on the other side of my table. I wasn't with them because they're big, long tables. It seats like 40 people, the length of the table. And the one girl knew Heidi's mom and was talking about, oh my God, she's here and she looks like so much like her mom. And she knew the mom and she knew the boyfriend. I don't know if it's the boyfriend. Heidi, that's
the news guy
on Arizona TV or a new guy. I don't follow it closely enough, but she was, oh yeah. And she's just, so obviously that kind of drew some attention, and Heidi hugged people, and then she sat down and she was quiet.
Okay. I heard she hung out for a while at the end. Yeah.
Oh, at the end. Yeah.
And now Rachel did not acknowledge her at all. Didn't say, hey girl, hey Heidi,
nope.
That's my...
Nope.
No.
If you didn't know to look for Heidi, or if you didn't know she was there, I mean, Rachel really didn't acknowledge much about anything directly except for her coochie. So.
Her coochie. Oh man. Hold on. That deserves a...
You have a wig in your panties.
There you go. Okay, so I wrote down some questions. So, okay, the setup was, and this is coming from B. Haney, who I talked to earlier. So it was an intro, like story time of her life, right, in the beginning. Then it was Q&A, and then it was period time at the end. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I put a big old long Reddit, like I broke everything down. It was in the beginning. The theme I know I saw on your live stream, I guess Tuesday, that you're like happy in the same pants. What the crap is that?
Yeah.
What it is, that she told the story, and it was about her sister. And her sister.
Yeah. Didn't she call her sister like some name, kind of like she was like a jerk or something?
Oh, she was a mean, beautiful, mean girl, horrible, nasty, angry all the time. She there was nothing nice about her sister, except for she was beautiful.
Oh, okay.
And
which sister is this? Did they say the name? Did she say which one it was?
No.
'Cause she's got two, I think. Okay.
No, she just said older sister. And see, I don't, again, I know she had a brother that passed away, but I didn't realize she had 2 sisters. I don't know enough. But no, she just said older sister, happy to tell you she doesn't like you from the moment you're born. I mean, obviously she had some issues with the sister, and just not afraid to tell you that she's not happy, angry, blah, blah, blah. And I guess at some point her mom, turns to the sister and says, well, yeah, you can be happy in the same pants. And that's the story. So we get to choose our attitudes, we get to choose how we are. We can be angry in these pants, or we can be happy in these pants. So that's the story, happy in the same pants.
So choose joy, basically.
Yes,
choose your pants and choose joy. Yes. Okay.
And because Rachel was Pollyanna and always, kind of made the right whatever, her mom never had to tell her to be happy in the pants, because Rachel was happy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's a good story to tell in a comedy show. All right, interesting. Okay, so Rachel's the best of the siblings. She never gave her mom any trouble except for when her mom made the box cake.
I
That
guess
was
so.
the final that's when she changed.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to have cake, or there was supposed to be cake. I mean, I can say that later. But I was like, "Where's the cake?"
Oh yeah. Okay, so I heard on Reddit that there was like banners passed out, and that there was supposed to be cake, but then nothing happened.
Yeah, I was at the table. I know the table next to us got the happy banner, and somebody was passing it out. I don't know who. Obviously, sister, cousin, who knows? Somebody basically said it's Rachel's birthday, and one of the girls said, "Oh, today?" And she's like, "No. She just turns 40 this year, so she's celebrating all year."
Was before all year? Okay,
yes.
Give me a break, girl.
Yeah. So she's celebrating all year. So at the end, we have these banners, and I don't know how we were supposed to hold up birthday. I mean, think of how long, so like I said, someone else had happy. We had birthday. So it's long, and that they were going to bring out a cake or something. Now, my tiny, tiny speculation, but this is just me.
I'm ready.
Did Rachel really know Heidi was going to be there, and maybe they ditched the cake idea because Heidi was? I would love to know, maybe in Utah if they do the cake, or someone else knows if they did the cake, because that would have been more opportunity for like audience interaction or audience. I don't know. Maybe Rachel was because there was nothing. It was, bye guys. That's the part Heidi's recording, and she dips off the stage, and that's it. And we're sitting at the table going, what were we supposed to do with this?
You're like, happy birthday.
Yeah.
She's gone.
So.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I wonder that does kind of add like a little bit of like question mark to the whole scenario, whether Heidi was invited or not. I go back and forth in my mind because I feel like her posting that got people to go. And so it seems like that would be a good marketing move on Rachel's part. But at the same time, the fact that Heidi was in the back row, like not very close, she didn't get any special treatment necessarily, so it seems. And then I don't know, like I feel like Rachel should have said like, hey, this is kind of weird, but I'm okay with it. She's here, Heidi Powell. The fact that she didn't do that, I'm like, maybe she didn't know. Maybe Heidi is truly unhinged and I am just giving her way too much credit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only, because I'm like, why didn't they do it? It just seemed, why would you pass it out, say they're going to bring out a cake and then not? But I don't know. I also forgot to say that her oldest son, I, again, don't really know the kids, I guess. Oldest
probably
son
for the best. None of us should know the kids.
I know Noah, because obviously Pancakegate, how can you not? But so he was in a big pink shirt that was like ask questions of Rachel. And apparently now, I did not see this, but I heard that there were women wanting to take selfies with this 16-year-old kid, which again, why?
I heard that too. Yeah. Because and I will blame her for a second. I blame her for everything, but like that's Rachel's fault. She's, invited these people into her world, and she, not as much as Heidi does, in my opinion, exploit her children, but they were in videos in the beginning. They were on her Instagram. They were part of her speeches. Like they don't really have the choice because they're her children. So now they're thrust into this, online persona thing. People get parasocially attached to it. So yeah, the teenage son has no idea who these people are, but these women women mostly have seen him grow up. So like, oh, my, I know you. And it's like, okay, but you forget that kid does not know you. It's so weird. Yeah. It's such a weird behavior. But like, because Rachel's like, oh, you're my friend. We're friends. You buy my ticket. We're friends. That's when it becomes like, exploitative on both sides, exploiting your audience, because it's like, I'm giving you this thing that you desire, which is community and friendship and all that. But you're actually not receiving it, which is why I feel like it's scummy behavior.
Yeah. And I guess you could equate it to people getting mad at a celebrity on the street for a character they played, but these are real life children. This isn't, he's not playing a character.
Yeah. And he's still underage. It's not like he's an adult now. He's coming back to help. It's like he's still a child. He's still in high school, correct. I believe. It's like, yeah, it might be his choice to be there, but really, I say this all the time with my own life stuff. It's like, you don't really have a choice when you're 16. You have the perception of choice, but you better do what your parents want you to do, or else you're going to face consequences, at least when, in my experience. So it's like, if she said you better be there, what choice does he really have? Right, exactly. So did you see the Jack there, the videographer? Oh, yeah. He was around. Well, there's a point where our table gets one of the questions. So I was like, oh my God, I really don't want to be on video. But yes, he was definitely scanning the crowd, recording her. Yes, he's got a nice camera set up. But. Yeah, I bet. I mean, I saw the podcast cameras and one of the vlogs that she did recently. I was like, oh, those are good cameras, expensive. Okay. And then, so the first part was the stories, and then the second part was the Q&A. She didn't do Q&A for too long though, right? It was like, no, short. There were 2 questions. Yeah. Okay. She went through the whole, how she met Boo thing, the fact that 2022 or 3 has been a hard year, but, and it's been hard for a few years. And I guess that's why she has to go on tour. It was kind of unclear. So she went through stories. She did Q&A at the end, and she only did 2 questions. She picked them out of the box. Randomly, or she looked through them and picked one? Well, she picked the first 2. You tell me if that was random. She picked one, and then when she was done that question, she picked the next one on top, which happened to be the people at our table. I didn't see the box set up. Who knows? She didn't rifle through the box. She just, my belief, again, but because I think everything is performative, is the questions were selected. Predetermined. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I'm looking at a picture now, and it looks like a little makeup case, like a see-through makeup case with Post-its. It's a pink. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pink. They were like index cards, I think. Okay. And do you remember what the questions were? The first one was very, yes. The first one was about a woman who had, I think it was an 11-year-old son who had severe ADHD or ADD and was addicted, in her words, addicted to technology. And she didn't know what to do. And counselors don't help her, or therapist, or basically she made it sound like she's gotten a lot of help or tried to get help, but nothing's working. The kid is just addicted to technology and not making friends and not doing things, and doesn't want to play soccer, and doesn't want to do whatever. He only wants to be on electronics in whatever form that is. How Rachel was going to help, I don't. They should ask Heidi for advice. So that was hard for me, because even at that question, I get it if it's like, how do I use social media to reach my customers? But you're going to ask your kid, you're going to ask about your kid. And you could tell the woman, she's worried about her child. You think it was a genuine question? Like a real? Yes, I do. Okay. Yes, I do. But I said this in my post. At first, I'm like, I didn't take notes on this part, because I'm like, it just broke my heart first. But Rachel started asking a bunch of questions, like, what are you worried about? What are you really thinking? What's in your heart? What's your fear? What's your fear? And it just felt to me like a psychic reading, where you're cold reading you. Yeah. Yes, where you're trying to get the answer you want so you can spin your narrative, I guess. And I don't know. That probably is the least part that I remember, is actually but to me it was very kind of navigating the responses, so then Rachel could go off and say whatever it was she wanted to say. And then basically the advice to the mom is, don't worry, figure it out. You'll figure, it'll be worked out. Don't worry. It's all going to be okay. Hire a house cleaner to clean your toilets. That was her advice. That was her advice at the end of it. And I just kind of, my husband is Australian, and there's a saying that they say that she'll be right.
And that's what I felt like, because my husband has said that to me before, and it just feels very dismissive. No, she won't be right. It's, this is a big deal. So I hated that question, honestly, and I thought, oh God, where is this going to go?
Yeah.
Because this woman did seem upset, like she really was worried about her child, and she doesn't know what to do, and counselors aren't helping. But how is Rachel going to help these days?
Yeah, that's where I get off track. I'm like, well, what do you think Rachel Hollis is going to do? She's got, no experience doing anything with children other than having her own. So, that woman has her own experience too. I don't know. That seems like a very weird question to answer on stage at a comedy show, number one. And number two, to ask. I kind of feel sympathy for her for being in that situation. But at the same time, it's like, come on. Like, let's be realistic. And
the other reason I think, and I totally understand, and I don't even disagree with Rachel on this, because it would not be the time or the place. But if they just would have done a pass around a mic opportunity, somebody's going to be asking, somebody's going to be asking questions about Dave, about Heidi, about the kids, about this, that, which honestly, I do respect her if she never wants to touch it again. But I also don't like the fact that she's profiting off of Dave's death still. You can't play both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
So I understand why they did the cards, to make sure that nobody was going to be icky or inappropriate.
Sure, especially with the son there too. Maybe that was part of the plan. Like, have the son be there so people are a little bit more respectful about the Dave situation, perhaps. Like, make people think twice.
Right.
I want to jump back for a second because we passed it over, but the skydiving Raya story. Now, I know we had discussed this before the show, but the last thing I heard about Raya, and I brought it up, let me look at my YouTube. There seems to be a change of narrative here with how she met Kez. Oh yeah, by the way, did you see Kez? Was Kez in the audience?
I never saw him. I didn't know.
Okay. So I saw Kez when I was in Cincinnati on the street on accident, but I did not see him anywhere else either in the venue. So
no, and I missed when Ray, I can get to the end where we're at the end. I missed when they actually walked out, but apparently other people did see Rachel and crew walk out. I just saw Heidi at the end and heard a friend talking to her as they were leaving. But yes, the narrative, what was the narrative that you heard about was?
So on June 7th in 2021, Rachel posted the infamous most embarrassing first kiss. It was like her second first kiss ever story. Okay, so that's June 2021. They announced the divorce, her and Dave, in June of 2020. So 1 year, she was already telling the story as if it had happened, months ago, and they're already in love at this point, I believe, or very shortly after they're in love. So, and the other, so the timeline that we talked about, that you're going to explain in a second, seemed a little off, because she makes it seem like they were dating forever before they got together, which this is a year, and she's already telling the story publicly. And then the second thing is why she was on Raya in the first place. She really doubled down on that before and said, I was just trying to make friends. I was so happy being single. I love being single. I just wanted to make some friends. And then now it sounds like that sort of has changed too. So I'm interested to hear more about that.
Okay. First of all, she told the whole, first kiss story pretty much like she told it on the podcast. So again, if we thought we were going to hear something new, no. I think the only new information that I had never heard from her or another motivational speaker was you can be happy in the same pants. Okay. So the story of so she went through a tiny touch about the divorce. Not even really a touch. It was more about her sex life. That when she got married very young, she met Dave when she wouldn't say his name. It was my ex, or my children's father, my kid's father. Met her ex when she was 18, very young. She was a daughter of a preacher, the granddaughter of a preacher. She didn't know anything about sex. She was, she knew as much as a sea slug and had the same moves. She didn't know nothing. And then fast forward, she gets
she had the same sex moves as a sea slug. That was an interesting line. I'm like, weren't you married for like over a decade before you got divorced? And also in her book, Girl Wash Your Face, again, infamously, there's a chapter on how amazing her and Dave's sex was, that her skills are the stuff of legends. So what, she forgot all that?
Maybe she was implying that when she first got married, she was a sea slug. That I could see that point of view.
Okay.
But obviously she was implying that she's been out of the game. She made a point to say that at whatever 35, or she had seen exactly one penis in her life. So Heidi got to hear about Dave's penis again, which was nice.
Oh, that is a weird scenario. Ugh. Okay. Yeah. God, I didn't think about that. Awkward.
So fast forward, she gets divorced. And she tells a story. There's two different types of women. One wants nothing to do with a man, but she's certain that all men want her, but she's not today, Satan. And then there's other women that are, hey, I'm ready to go. Let's ride that horse. Regulators mount up. Let's go. She was the first one.
Of course.
She didn't.
Totally.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I don't need a man. I can take care of myself. The whole thing. And she's good at 6 months. She was good at 8 months, I think. And then she said about 10 months, she started. I think it was she started thinking that she wanted to date, or she started to kind of wonder about dating, but she didn't know how to do it. So instead, she decided to go skydiving. So, because I guess that's what you do when you don't know how to date, is let's go skydiving. So she tells this whole story about how, when you skydive for the first time, if people don't know, you have an instructor on your back and they have to strap you in and they have to lock you in and they have to pull straps and they have to get close. And, when you're in the plane, you're sitting on their lap and she's like, hey, Santa. And, just this whole, but of course, she had to kind of downplay the instructor that he was a 23-year-old pencil mustached guy that she would never be attracted to. Well, okay, I get the 23. I respect her for that.
Yeah.
But she started to feel things, and that by the time that she landed on the ground, she's like, yeah, I need to start dating. So
to me, I feel like if a man had told that story and said, I was hooked up to a female skydiving instructor and I was like, oh, I need to go date now, the reception would be like creepy. But the fact that she's a woman, it's allowed, I guess, maybe in the eyes of the audience or in her eyes as well. But to me, it sounds like a little like this is his profession, or at least his job. And you're sort of sexualizing him. It's kind of like, well, okay, I get it, I guess, but it's kind of weird.
and getting aroused, even though she shouldn't be attracted to him. But now she's decided that. So she does say, as she said in the venue or the show, whatever you want to call it, she made a conscious decision to date when, basically after the skydiving. That was her line.
That was her divine intervention, was
right.
Her arousal.
So then
20-year-old. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So then she, but she doesn't know how to date because of course she was married for however long. And I mean, I get it, she's over, some of the stuff, I hate to say it's quote relatable, but do I believe it? No, no, she's making stories up and how do I know that? Because stories change, and
people accept it though. That's the thing. Like the haters don't accept it, but we don't count anyway. So it's like the people that like her go, I don't care. She changes the story. I don't care. It's like, okay, well, I guess that Rachel has insight into a industry that I don't quite understand. Like, you like being lied to? Like, yeah, I don't care. It's like, okay, cool. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't write this down, but I just happened to glance up at chat and I do see somebody, she did say this. She's talking about the guy and his pencil mustache and said, imagine your favorite IT guy. So she's just insulting all around.
Yeah. She really doesn't like this guy. She needs you to know he wasn't hot. Because if he was, I could have dated him.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So she decides that she doesn't know how to date. She doesn't know what to do. So what do? You ask 25-year-olds. And she does a little segue, are there any 25-year-olds in the audience? And hey, enjoy it now. Your boobs are never going to look this good. Your pooch is never going to look this, she goes into that whole love your body now because this is the best it's going to get, basically, type thing.
It's pretty rude as well. I feel like, because I don't know how young the audience is. I don't think she's got a huge under 25 audience. Is that just to insult everybody there? Like, everyone older than 25, you should be ashamed of your bodies.
Yeah, I mean, it did. I mean, okay, I think anybody over 25 is kind of aware of, we don't look like we did at 25, and she did acknowledge that her boobs was a boob job, which I didn't know that information before. Mm-hmm. And that if it wasn't, I mean, I don't really need to know she had a boob job, but she shared that information.
Mm-hmm. She talked about considering getting a tummy tuck before, but then she said, I think it was at one of the conferences she did, but then she learned how painful it is and how serious the surgery is and decided against it. But she was considering it at one point, which I think is also, I mean, I guess you can change, of course, but ironic that she became famous, or at least internet famous, for her bikini photo of "Be proud of your stripes, you earn them." Yes, I wear a bikini and I'm overweight, in her mind, overweight. It's insane to me. But, she's like, I'm just the average woman, even though in that photo, she appears to me to be very thin and normal looking. I don't know. But her bravery, got her the success that she has now.
I think the depressing thing is it was just implied that, after 25, it's all downhill, I mean,
it's okay, 26-year-olds should just go in the corner and cry. Come on, relax. Yeah. Rachel. Anyways, okay. So then she gets on Raya. She said that she got kicked out or something, or was going to.
No. Okay. Well, yes. Okay. So here's the Raya story. So she didn't know about Raya. So she, how is she going to date? Now, this is, again, Rachel's sort of humble bragging. How's she going to date? And she's talking to the 25-year-olds because they know what to do. And the 25-year-olds are amazed. What do you mean you're not going to be able to date? You have a blue check mark by your name. So, you just got to throw that out there. Mm-hmm. And so then they told her about Raya, and she didn't know what Raya was. And apparently, with Raya, and they told her, you have to get all the celebrities are on it. So obviously, she's in the celebrity category. Mm-hmm. She should be on Raya.
Of course.
And that you have to be referred by somebody who's already on it and will vouch for you and say you're a good person and you're cool. And
a true celebrity.
And you have to be approved by a committee. So again, Rachel is above us all. In being able to be in Raya, because we have no hope of finding someone in Raya. Just saying. So she gets on it and she's excited. Now, at this point, she isn't talking about what her status is or anything. She just gets on it, and I guess they give you 10 names a day. They, so you've only got so many choices. She says the second person that she matched with was Owen Wilson. And she's freaking out, so she takes a screenshot. And immediately, I guess something pops up that says, strike one. Mm-hmm. So, because obviously the app knows you took a screenshot.
Yeah.
So she freaks out, blah, blah, blah. And then at some point, she matches with John Mayer. And she takes a screen, and she does the whole, well, I know he's into 20-year-olds, but maybe he'll be into someone with stretch marks and blah, 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 and whatever.
I texted Heather, the lawyer, who's also has a channel, and I think she kind of moved away from Hollis content completely. I think she got rid of all her stuff, but I know she loves John Mayer, and I texted her that information. I was like, okay, I just need you to know this, that apparently Rachel Hollis matched with John Mayer. I'm like, I'm going to jump off a bridge because that is my favorite artist of all time. And I'm not saying as a person that I care about him or know him or anything, but I know every single John Mayer song. I've listened to every album a million trillion times. And the fact that she picked him out specifically, I was like, I've been personally, what do you call it? Victimized by Rachel Hollis again.
Well, that was her strike too, because she took a picture of John Mayer. So it popped up as strike 2. So then she learned to just grab her teenagers' phones and take pictures so she can send to her friends what celebrities she's being matched with.
So she seems really distraught about the divorce. So it seems she was like she was taking it really hard and like, I don't know. I guess 10 months is fine, I suppose, but I don't know. That seems like she's giddy about it. She's been happier than ever for someone who had such an exceptional marriage. Yeah.
Well, Heidi too, Dave's dead and she's just, going through all the most loving times of her life or what, anyway. You've covered that. So I guess so this is how we know she's changed the story. So she would, because they only give you 10 a day, she would wait till the kids were in bed and get in her little cozy chair, and she would slowly go through the 10. And she was finding that people were like, I guess guys were messaging her, she got 3 different guys saying, hey, are you in for a threesome? And
I find that to be unlikely. I don't know, personally. She doesn't seem like the type that would want that or be interested. So I feel like who would ever think that would, and wasn't her profile like Guy Fieri's face or like the costume? So it's like, I don't know. She's that hot.
I'm not sure. She didn't say that. And she didn't exactly say what her status was, but what was your status that some guys, I guess, just that if you're on this app, cold proposition you. I don't know.
That is, there may have been some sort of like wink, wink type of thing. Or maybe it's a lie and it's all just to make her seem interesting because what she's desirable.
Yes, because at that point she said, yep, I'm done with this, just for friends. So she changed her status, or what she was looking for was just for friends. Whereas I know you said before, she made it sound like that's all she did from the beginning. Well,
yeah,
I don't think Owen Wilson and John Mayer were on there just for friends, but So.
Yeah. Or even her boyfriend, her boo thing that she ended up with. The thing is, though, okay, that sounds like, and I don't know how many, days of 10 people she had to go through. But again, like the divorce was in June, at least publicly. They said they announced it, or they decided on it a month before they announced it publicly. So let's say May. Okay, 10 months later is when she started this process, she claims. But then 12 months, which is the video that I just showed, she already had recorded a YouTube video saying that she had kissed Kez and had already had feelings for him and was already talking about him publicly. So...
Well, the math doesn't math, because in the story she told last night, they were friends for 4 months before. Pretty sure it was 4 months. I'm trying to see. Did I actually write the... Maybe it wasn't 4. It was a while, though.
Yeah. The timeline seems a little sketch. Like she's trying to make it seem like very much similar to how she's trying to make it seem like this move that she made to go back to LA was like after so long after Dave died. Dave died in February. It's only June and she's already moved in, bought a new house, like sold her other house, sold Dave's house. I mean, she moved quick. And she's making it seem like we really sat on this idea for quite a while. I'm like, it's been a week. Like, what are you talking about?
You sold the house. And, you sold the house and you're done.
And like this getting with him, it's like, and she's like, oh, I was single for so long. I'm like, you were single for less than a year. What are you talking about?
Right. Same thing with Dave and Heidi and fudging timelines and or even fudging timelines of now Rachel's trying to say that her and Dave, well, Ben, before he died, our marriage was on the rocks for a while. Well, then why the crap were you taking money for marriage conferences, right up until like what was it, 2019?
Well, it was 2018 was the marriage conference specifically, the one and only. And so I will give her a little slack there where it's like they stopped after the first one, and they sort of said they did regret it at some points, but they were posting content on their dual podcasts where they talked about relationships basically exclusively, about how great they were, how much in love they were more than ever, that they were struggling, but that at the end had more love than they ever did, and so it was misleading completely. And she was still doing Rise conferences, and he was often there, and also promoting his own book, which talked about how great their marriage was. So I will give her a little credit about the conferences, but there was still a lie going on, because you buy into her persona because she's got her life together, but in reality, obviously, she was on the brink of divorce she claims, before they even adopted their daughter, which is crazy. So, yeah.
Right.
Not great.
So when they finally met as, just for friends, I guess the first time they met, they went for coffee and a walk, and they walked for like 4 hours that day and just talked and talked and talked. Now, again, this is where this story, okay, so they walked and talked and they had a great time. And she wasn't attracted to him. She specifically says she didn't want him to touch her boobs, whatever. And they did this for a long time. I mean, she made it sound like many, many times they would just meet to walk and talk. But she never really looked at his face, because, of course, when you're walking and talking with someone, you're side by side. So you don't look at each other in the face. And that's why she didn't realize he was wearing workout clothes, and he wasn't dressed up. And that's why she wasn't really attracted to him. Now, again, I don't know how long this period of time was for sure, but she makes it sound like it was a while. And then at some point, I guess he invites her for a date or a drink or something at a wine bar. Mm-hmm. She walks in, sees him immediately dressed like normal clothes and his hair like a lion's mane. And she knew then that she wanted him to touch her boobs. Mm-hmm. So but again, the timeline. How does the timeline work? Or did they go for 4 walks in 4 days, or was it 4 weeks? And not that it really matters, except for,
She makes it a point to always be in whatever story it is and I think most of this stuff is bullshit with a little bit of truth in it. Maybe, it's like probably 75% bullshit and then 25% truth. Like the end result is true. Like, okay, we ended up dating, so that's the true part. But everything surrounding it is probably bullshit.
Yeah, I have to make it interesting. How can I make content out of this? How can I make money out of it? I got to tell an interesting story.
Yeah, and also appear as the hero at the end. Like, she always is like, oh, I was just there for friends, and I gave it a long time, and I waited, and I got to know him as a person. It's like, sure, whatever, okay, girl, whatever.
Yeah. Now I don't remember. Did she talk about how the kiss actually happened because they were playing a game, or do you remember? I don't remember. I just remember her talking about the kiss.
Yeah, I remember she said, I forget the details exactly, but he was on the porch and then she was wearing sweatpants.
There's back. So she gave more. Okay, so this is new information. She gave a little bit more backstory. So he came over one night. She had him over for a beer. Now, if you had already decided that you wanted him to touch your boob, because remember, the wine bar happened before, correct?
I would imagine, I guess. The wine bar is new to me. She only talked about the porch scenario before.
Okay, no. Well, she said that from the time she walked in the door and took 2 steps, she knew, and she was passing out from desire or whatever. So
I guess making out, like how she used to say about Dave, was AKA sex, wink wink, is touching my boob now. That's the now it's touching. Oh yeah, she made a point. I don't even know if maybe I said this to you, that about she goes into pubic hair, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So she says that she invited him over for a beer. But the storyline goes, she had already decided she wanted him. So me personally, I don't know if I wanted a guy. I mean, I would at least put on some pants that weren't all holy, and I wouldn't have, because she talks about how awful she looked and her holy sweatpants, and not that they're blessed by God, it's because they're a mess, and she didn't look great. Again, the curated imperfection. Yeah. So, and what they were doing was they were playing a game. I believe the game was called We're Not Really Strangers. And it's a get to know you game and ask questions and blah, blah, blah. Now, remember, this is not post pandemic, but it's
nobody had still been kind of going out. Nobody had. Oh, and even that. When did they get divorced? They got divorced in 2020.
2020 June. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
when they
because she
announced
was
it.
even talking about how, well, she maybe would have liked to meet people, but she couldn't because if you went out, then you might kill your grandma. So, again, just the timelines. So they were
She was
playing this
out.
game.
She was going to LA and stuff. She was.
Yeah, they were playing this game, and one of the questions was, what's something that you would want to do that you haven't been able to do in the past year? And of course she says, the universe has got your back, because she knows what she's going to say. So he says, like, family wedding, because, I'd like to go, I'd like to dance, haven't been around people. Obviously, nobody has gotten married for a while. And she says, I want to make out with someone. And yeah.
John Mayer.
Yeah, exactly. But he doesn't pick up her vibe. He doesn't pick up her signals. He doesn't know. So she's like, oh, well, so they keep playing and they keep playing. And then another question comes up is, what's something that I can help you with? So conveniently, she's able to say, remember that card a couple questions ago? And that's how supposedly the groundwork was laid for the kiss.
Okay. So then how do they end up on the porch?
Well, I guess she was like cleaning up the kitchen and stuff, and he went on the porch, and she's in the kitchen, and she sees him on the porch, and oh my God, he's on the porch. Well, that means he wants to kiss me. I don't know how I would have gotten he wants to kiss me because you're on the porch, but so she's freaking out. What do I do? And I'm talking in my head and blah, blah, blah. But then she goes out there, and then the story starts with her. There are stars, but basically what she told on the same story. I don't know where to put my butt. I don't,
babe.
I don't know where to put my hands. What do I do with my teeth? That she's the same story.
Man. Okay. So yeah, a little bit, maybe a little change detail or added detail, but essentially the same story. She's told that multiple times. She told that at the Rise conference too in Austin. As well. So, and then the YouTube video. So we gotta cut that one from the lineup. Rach, I'm done with that one. I can't talk about her kissing anymore.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of like. It's like, why would you use a story that was literally your story back from Toiletgate? I mean, if they're a fan, they know the story.
They know it already. Yeah. Did people laugh? Were they engaged? Did they clap and howl when she was telling these stories?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some. No, not like cheering, clapping, not like been to comedy shows before where it's like somebody hits that point home and you're like, oh my God, that's so funny. But people chuckled, people were funny. But then this segues into where she starts talking about again that she hasn't ever had sex with anyone else, and she's only seen one penis, and what do we do?
Seen two, apparently.
What do we shave? Do we wax? What do we do? And he's going to see my stretch marks, and oh my God, and she goes in this whole narrative in her head, but then this is where we get our lesson, because she realizes that the obsessing of, and of course, lots of hand movements at her crotch the entire show. She's obsessing like 20-year-old Rachel would do. And 38-year-old Rachel does not need to drag 28-year-old Rachel, 38-year-old Rachel. And she makes the comment that she went through hell, but doesn't give a, what the hell was, what the time period, whatever, doesn't need to act like 20-year-old Rachel. So basically her bush is free, in case we were all wondering. And finally. She's cool. And if you think she's cool, you can touch her boobs, but you don't get an opinion on her bush. So we all know.
Okay.
My pubic hair.
There you go.
Yes.
You have a wig in your panties.
That's another one that's got to hit the director's floor or whatever. We got to cut that one too. I don't need any more shaving, any more periods, any more tampons or kissing. And if she can come up with new material, I may be back on board. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't even want to get to the period material. Oh my God.
Was it the same one from the preview where it's like, can you imagine if a guy had a period?
Well, yes, but she drug a guy in.
Okay. Yeah, tell me that part. So there was an actual guy in the audience.
Yes. So there was a guy named Lance, and he was close to the front row. Hang on, I'm trying to...
Do you think he was a plant? Do you think he was implanted there by the Rachel Hollis genius staff? Or do you think he was legitimately there?
I don't know. I saw him leave, and I mean, I didn't see.
Okay.
Who knows?
Because she made a big deal about saying men are not allowed, and don't bring your boyfriend if he sucks.
Yeah, there were a couple guys there though, so I don't think. The reason why I guess she noticed Lance. I mean, I feel like she asked a question in the beginning or something, and he was pretty close to the stage, so of course he's going to be, but he wasn't like front row. He was off to the side. But basically, I'm trying to remember how it started. It was, can you give me 2 seconds?
Yeah, you're good. We're watching the vlog in the background and the Ronald McDonald suicide posters in the back.
Oh, gosh.
So confirmed she's had this for a while because it's an older vlog.
Okay, I'm just trying to see how we got there is really where I'm at, because my mind is a blur right now. Okay, so basically, yeah. So she before the period talk, she went into just then we were at the motivational part of after her dating. It was like talking about that horse. I think she's told that story before, that didn't really know how to count but was just reacting, and then talking about the Rosenthal-Jacobson experiment and how we rise to our expectations, blah blah blah. So we went through all the motivational, used her son as an example of you don't raise the ceiling, you lower your floor, you don't go backwards, we're always going forwards, and basically all that to say, like, we can do hard things as women. So then she goes to Lance and says, I'm sorry for this next part, but drags him in. So she has a little story about pads, and she's explaining to Lance, who to me looked over 40 and probably has an idea how women's cycle and menstrual pads work.
Yeah.
But she's explaining how pads are, and if you're rich, you get the ones with the wings and how they stick and blah, blah, blah. She told a story about her at Magic Mountain as a young girl. Her mom and sisters didn't really tell her about periods. They just threw a box of, maxi pads and said,
she hates her family so much. She's got to throw them under the bus all the time.
Yeah. And so she's at line in Magic Mountain, and she starts feeling something, and I don't want to get so big. She's feeling something way down there, and she thinks her maxi pad has flipped and that it's pulling at her, and that's the pain she's feeling, and she's freaking out because she's in line to go on a roller coaster, but it's going to be an hour, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's trying to stretch it out and act like, oh, this is normal, but she thinks she can fix it with some stretching gymnastics. Gets on the roller coaster, goes to the bathroom. There's nothing wrong. Her pad is fine. She doesn't understand. And so then she's like, okay. And then the pain starts again. And that's when she realizes that she's having cramps, because she was never told cramps can be in your back, cramps can be in your thighs. She was never told that period cramps can be in other places than just your belly. So she's explaining this all to Lance, so that Lance knows how,
understands,
yes, how period
500 women
are.
show up for her, and she talks to the one guy in the audience. Got it.
So she goes on and on. That's when she does the whole we bleed every month, and she's got to take iron because she bleeds so much or she'll die, and that we have clots coming out, and that we can do these hard things. And if we're saying we can't do something hard, if we can't start a new business, sure, we can start a new business, because if we bleed through our clothes in a public place, we'll figure it out. We'll MacGyver it out, how to work out the solution to this problem. Tell me how bleeding through my clothes is going to help me, feed my family. But okay.
Yeah.
Apparently that's it. And that, then she goes back to Lance, and, because women, we're strong. We do this every single month. Imagine Lance. If Lance started having periods, and I kid you not, out of his butthole.
Yeah.
Imagine,
I remember that part.
Imagine Lance is on the golf course having a period with his butt, and he's got cramps. And oh my God, what if he has penis cramps? And how would he handle it? He can't handle it. Ambulances would be called. What if he had big clots going out of his penis? I mean, this is the vibe she has given, that men will lose their mind. But because we are women, we can do hard things. That's our... That's
as if
moral.
we have a choice with the matter. I think I believe, a clip of this joke. I think it's not a full thought, but let me find it for a second. I think it might be this one, because it is about, she's screaming pretty loud about the pain, the hypothetical pain of men with their periods. So let me see which one it is. Yeah, I think this is this part. Okay, hold on. Let's see.
History of hard things stacked on top of each other, and you use that as the rationale for why you can't take on something new that's hard. But it's always gonna be hard. So it may as well be a hard thing you decide to do. And then the excuse that I hear is like, well, I just don't know. I don't know how to figure it out, right?
Okay, so that seemed to be like in the same vein, but like more the inspo part. Okay, let me check this.
Yeah, and that was definitely mild than the monologue she went on.
Yeah, let me
but
try.
Yeah, basically.
Let me try one more. One more. It's only 40 seconds. Let me see, because I think the one that I think this is like when she's like, she's like screaming her head off. So let's see.
Thank you so much for listening to our stories. If you got something out of tonight, will you please tell your friends that it was cool?
No, this is not it. What the heck? Maybe I don't have that one. Oh, hold on. No, that's my friends. This is 26 seconds. Let's see.
History of hard things.
No? Okay, one more. This one.
Lose his mind.
Here it goes.
Ambulances would be called fire trucks.
Yep.
The other men arrive on the scene. They're like, what's this?
I didn't realize she actually said you can do hard things, like straight out, I mean, it's not her phrase, but straight out of Glennon Doyle's book, basically.
Yeah, and that was close to how the quote was, that the men would be freaking out, ambulances would be called, other men would be blah blah. Yeah, and we're nobody gives us a day off when we have a period, and we do hard things every single month, and so we can do hard things.
Interesting. That's an interesting. She loves to tie periods with life lessons. I find that to be a very interesting shtick, because the life lesson about her forgetting her tampon was that sometimes you forget about things. I was like, okay, you got to keep on track on your things. I'm like, all right, there's a lot of ways you could have told that story. But interesting. Oh, yeah, thank you, Kay. Thank you, Kay. That was from Kay. I've mixed all of my videos together, and I apologize. Some of these are from Kay, some of these are from Heidi's Instagram. So that one's from Kay. Thank you. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay, we talked about the questions. We talked about Lance. Did he look uncomfortable during that exchange at all, or he looked like he was happy? What was that vibe?
No, I mean, I think he was good humored. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, I mean, I have no idea what he knows about Rachel. What is what, was he with a wife? Was he not with a wife? I mean, he didn't like storm off or heckle her or something, but he I get, in that moment, I guess you just sort of take it,
Yeah. What can you do? I guess. Okay, we talked about the cost, and the parking was $10, and the drinks. Okay, we already talked about. Did we talk about the drinks? Yeah, we did. We talked about that.
Yeah,
they were like
$17,
right? $15.
And I got cheap parking. I mean, really, it should have been $15-20. I was able to find a place for 10 and walk a little further.
Okay, yeah, good call. Do you think overall, like, did you feel? Because I know you went there as like a snarker, so obviously you're biased, and I'm biased, so it's hard to get a real answer. But did you think the price and like how long she talked and the effort she gave, was it worth it? Do you think like someone?
No.
Okay.
No, because it was $35. She came on stage at 7:05 and she was done by 8:40. Are you serious?
Wow.
And that's with Q&A. No, absolutely not.
Huh.
Absolutely not. I don't care what the content was. It's more just my time. Give me 2 hours at least. She could have done. Why couldn't she? And this is why. I don't know if I can't remember what I said on Reddit and what I've told you. This is why I think that the Q&A was bogus. She had a narrative. She had a monologue she wanted to say. How can I fit it in? Let me grab a Q&A. Because why couldn't she do 5 Q&As? Why couldn't she do 10? Why couldn't we have an hour of Q? Because even that, because I didn't get to finish your Tuesday stream. So I was watching some of it this afternoon, and I was watching where she was doing basically the commercial for it. And she's making it sound like the first part is going to be stories and the second part's going to be, answer 2 questions.
Yeah.
2 questions.
That seems
and
low.
Even the second question wasn't, even that was like, this is why I think she did her narrative. So I can't entirely, so what happened? First question, blah, blah, blah. Second question, she pulls it out. She starts reading, and I can tell by the other ladies at the table, it's their question because I wasn't a part of what they asked. I wasn't, and I was like, oh crap. So I'm like, okay, great. Here she's, everything's going to be directed over here. She'd think I'm a part of it, blah, blah, blah. And of course she goes, who's the question? And, everybody's pointing, the 4 people at the table. I kind of pointed at them and they were pointing at each other. And the question was something like, how do you balance parenting mother? I mean, maybe someone else that was there that remembers, because they were not in a deer in headlights moment. But it was like, how do you balance parenting and relationships and being perfect
and hot and the sexiest lady to ever walk the earth? How do you do it all, girl?
It was something like #tired mom, something else. Like I said, maybe if someone else remember, but it was a pretty general, how do I manage my life and like living it question, sort of, kind of. So she did start to ask, well, kind of like, do you have a passion for something, or is there something that gets you up in the morning? And I could tell the one girl that she was kind of directing at was very shy, very embarrassed, didn't really want to answer. So I do respect Rachel in a sense for not for not like making her be embarrassed. Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
And and the girl was kind of like heading, and she's like, well, if you can't think of something, then the answer is no. And which I'm kind of like, okay. And she's like, you need to find something. And then, so that's when she kind of goes into, things that Rachel likes, like, oh, bougie coffee and a coffee maker and the grinder and this and that. And then she goes into the marathon. You should train for a marathon. And she goes on and on about the Disney
I thought you're not supposed to train. You're supposed to just follow your heart and intuition and show up at the starting line the day of the race.
I guess
confused.
she, we don't know
She's
how
changed.
to manifest it as well as she did. No, because
true.
she talked about getting blisters in places you didn't know you could get blisters. And she, and again, I just thought it was funny because Disney isn't the only marathon she's ran, correct?
No, she's run a couple, I believe. A few.
I just thought it was
I think.
ironic that of all the marathons, I'm just going to talk about Disney, and Disney's great, and Disney's this, and Disney's that. Which, that was something else too, that with a story with her son, she alluded to the fact that her son has money and doesn't have to know what a Motel 6 is because mama works her ass off. And I'm thinking, where's Dave's money?
Yeah.
Because how does this 16-year-old never know what a Motel 6 is in his entire life because Rachel works hard? So again, not, and there were things that made it seem like she's been a single parent for a very long time. It's just tiny little nuggets that, maybe I'm reading too much into.
No, that's the whole point of this entire channel is to read into these little sentences for 6 hours. That's right. You're in the right place for this.
Okay.
The story about Noah and the signing of the paperwork.
That was probably my entire favorite part of thing, but that's just because I think Noah is adorable, and I'm glad she's not on social media as much, and I'm glad that she's not gonna, hopefully be as
present. I think they all should just be, have a private life. If they want to have social media later on their own for their friends, good. But like, I would love to never see Heidi's children again, for sure, and Rachel's children until they're 18 years old, and then boom, they can come back and it would be a wonderful day. But yeah, that's my hope for all of them.
And the only reason I shared the stories with Reddit was because, you know what, Rachel asked for money for these stories, and she chose to I wasn't, digging through her diary, or I didn't, snoop something, she shared these stories. It was a very cute story, I thought. Basically, Noah got in trouble. Well, first of all, the beginning of the show, you could be happy in the same pants. It's because that sister was strong-willed and angry, and so she had to relate it as Noah is her strong-willed child, which I could see. I can see Noah giving Rachel a run for her money. Yeah. But basically, Noah came home in trouble, or had a note, and in the note she had used, it said the F word. It wasn't spelled out. It was just spelled out as F and then word. And and again, even part of this bothered me because Rachel's talking about none of my other 3 boys, I've got 3 boys and blah, blah, blah. And none of them ever said the F, and she's acting like she raised them alone. Yeah. Like it was kind of like, where have I gone wrong? You've been a full-time parent for 4 months. And
also, they've all just gone through like a super trauma the last 2 years, really, like moving and on social media. And they had a stepmom, basically, and they have a new, mom's got a new boyfriend, and they got houses, and their dad dies. And 2 months later, they're back to LA. And it's like, oh my God, like the fact that this is the worst story is like a blessing, like, oh my God, it's going to be a lot worse.
I can relate. I have, again, my husband is Australian. I have 2 stepsons that are Australian, that the reason why we're living in America is because their birth mom died of cancer 5 years ago now. So I understand. I relate to the whole losing a parent, and, they were 11 and 8 at the time. And all of a sudden, we had shared custody, and magically one day it's like, here you go. Now you got to deal with these kids full time and the trauma of losing their mom to cancer. Yeah. So but that's also why I'm like, why is Rachel on tour? Because I've walked through these shoes. It's hard, and Noah's 6.
Yeah. Yes. And the fact that she's like so happy and everything's great, it just plays into that, to me, toxic positivity, where it's like, I went through trauma my whole life. That's, she'll tell that story, like in her youth, now in her adulthood, she's been through trauma, and look at me, I am happy and I'm choosing to be this way. It's like, okay, but no one's asking you to do that other than you. And I feel like it's a bad way to be because you're just repressing everything. So it seems.
Yeah. Yeah. So the cute part of the story is Noah brings home the note, but she doesn't give it to Rachel. She gives it to Boo Thing. Now, Boo Thing, Rachel says has no children, and he's looking at it, and he's like, I don't think I'm supposed to be signing this. And Noah says, oh, no, it's okay. Any adult can sign it. It's fine. So, that part, yes, it made me chuckle. I thought it was cute. Now, turns out that it wasn't the F word that we all thought it was. It was freaking. And Rachel says freaking. So, of course, she's like, oh, this isn't even that big of a deal, which, okay, I kind of agree. But it's teacher's rules. And Rachel explained that to her. And, we got to respect the teacher. And if the teacher doesn't like that word, don't use that word. I know mommy uses it, but don't use it at school. Okay, cool. Then apparently a few days later, she gets another call or email from the teacher because there was another note brought home. And this time Noah didn't even take it to an adult. She just signed it and didn't even try to pretend it was Rachel's signature. And, so I did think that story was cute. But yes, you are correct. If she's using words or she's acting out, you know what? I bet she's angry that her dad isn't here anymore. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah. And it's almost like, I don't know if it was you I was talking to about it, or maybe it was Kay actually, that said they thought it was kind of to tell everyone that Kez is like a dad, is the dad now. He's being approached with the paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely sort of a vibe. But Kez is so good, he knew he shouldn't sign. That wasn't his place to sign.
Yeah, the subtlety, the whole story is whatever, but the subtlety there is I'm great. The whole performance, the whole reason she's on tour, I'm doing good. I'm actually way better without Dave. Now I can post again on Instagram without fear. I can go on tour. Everything's peaches and gravy or whatever. Peaches and gravy.
Yeah.
Yum. And peaches and cream. And also my Boo Thing and I are so great. All the guys wanted to date me, but I chose him. Oh, also, he's basically a father now because he's being asked to sign paperwork by my youngest daughter. Everything's amazing. My son is here. Poof, we are so good. Keep buying my stuff. That to me seems
I lost you.
The whole thing. Oh, you hear me here? Hello?
Oh, no, I think I got it. I think you went mute. Yep.
Okay.
There.
I didn't say anything exciting, I promise. But yeah, I feel like that was the whole point of this whole thing. It's the whole point of her whole brand, really. But the thing that, always gets me is that people do unironically like her, but also people unironically join MLM still. So, we got a long way to go. So who am I to judge too harshly? Peaches and gravy. Yeah, I'm sorry. And while our guest maybe gets connected, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Am I here?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Sorry, my son just knocked on the door. He just walked in the door.
Oh, you're good.
I was like, yeah, just give me a minute.
Tell him you're famous and you're on the internet right now doing a live interview.
Right. I'm YouTube. I'm YouTube famous. I'm living my fantasy of having my own YouTube channel.
Your dreams came true. You manifested this. You woman-fested.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, okay. Well, that's basically all. I have my list of questions here, boothing, all of that. Is there anything that any stories or Heidi things that we didn't talk about that you think are important to bring up?
Well, if any, the meet and greet, Heidi's meet and greet after, I think it was kind of covered.
Was she signing merch too? Did she have a merch table, Heidi?
No merch table. So basically, like I said, she was kind of seated directly diagonal behind me. Mm-hmm. As soon as the show ended, we kind of sat there for a second because it's where's the cake? Where's the bird? We were waiting. And then it's okay, well, nobody's bringing cake. So then people, and so I looked over and Heidi immediately had a crowd of people kind of around her, probably 20 people, but people kept kind of filing, wanting to take pictures. I tried to take a picture discreetly, but I'm it just felt icky to me. If I'm not that part I didn't like, so I didn't post anything for that. But I'll stand behind and take notes. I'm just not the videoing and picturing and stuff. I just don't.
Well, good, because you would have been kicked out otherwise. So
Apparently, yeah.
yeah, it was for the best. I know from personal experience now, sort of secondhand personal experience. Here's the one from Reddit. There you go. There's Heidi and the Gal Pal squad. I mean,
Okay.
she seemed like, from everything I've heard and read, she seemed like she was loving it. It wasn't an inconvenience for her to hang out and meet people. And according to her own Instagram, she loved it.
Yeah, she was charming. She was Miss America. She was, hugging people and loving on people and, oh, you're so great. And, and that was something else. I know she posted something about crying. There was no point in all of these stories that I don't know who cried. I don't know why they would have cried. There was nothing. There was no heartfelt. There wasn't even like a get your inner child and love her moment. I mean, it was, you have a period, you can do hard things, basically. And then stories about Rachel.
Give me a second.
So,
yeah. Yeah.
So,
she looks like in her element, honestly, just based on this picture. She looks, I mean, first of all, there's a lot of blondes in this audience, I'm noticing. Just in this one shot, there's a lot of blonde people. I would have fit in, kind of. I'm blonde-ish.
Yes, there were. And that's why in the beginning I thought I saw her come in. Just because it was kind of like just based on, I mean, I've never seen her in person, even though I live in Arizona, but descriptions that she is a little tinier, petite, long blonde hair. And I thought I saw her come in and I was like, dang it, I missed her. And so I made the excuse to use the restroom and then kind of did the circle of the venue. Wasn't her. But yeah, when I was circling the venue, I'm like, oh my God, everybody here, it's like 3/4 blonde. Apparently we have a lot of blonde women in Arizona. I didn't realize how blonde until,
that's what my friend said too. He's like, everyone's blonde here. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds about accurate.
So she, at some point, I went to the restroom. By the time I had come back, the venue was, had kicked her in the lobby. Kicked everybody. I don't want to say her, but obviously, hey, y'all need to go. So you can clean up and go home, of course. So in the lobby, she was there for quite a while and just taking pictures and talking to me. I mean, she was happy. I mean, she, at least, I know tears of a clown, maybe she wasn't, but she seemed very, very thankful for the people that recognized her, acknowledged her, whatever.
I find it to be, and this is just my personal take on this, I find it to be like social media likes. The same thing. It feels good, obviously, to get liked and for people to say, like, thumbs up, you're hot, you're good, you're worthy, whatever. But it's really shallow. And as soon as you go home and you leave that, again, like you said, you didn't get any phone numbers or anything from people, there. It's just, it lacks the depth of what you really are wanting to fill here. And I find this to be true too. Like, you walk into like a room and you're like, oh, you're so great, you're so great, you're so great. But it feels probably hollow at the end of the day. She's kind of seems like grasping to hold on to the fame that she had before, which is fine. But I just don't think it's going to solve the issues that seem to be kind of present in her life, unfortunately.
Right. And I, even when she posted about somebody that she met that she was next to in line and ended up being, quote, her date for the evening, her date friend or whatever. Are you ever going to talk to that person again? I highly doubt it.
Yeah. She might sell to her, hey, come join my mastermind one day or whatever. But yeah.
I think the problem with Heidi as well is because she had kind of a little bit of fame before with Chris, of course. And then that fell apart. And I really think that she thought she was going to be able to hitch her wagon to Dave. And she, because.
Oh, no. Man, that was the paranormal. The call dropped, or maybe her phone died. We'll take a break from the interview until she calls back, if she calls back. We would love to have you back. Secret audience member. Okay, I'm very sorry to everybody who I've been ignoring in the chat because I've been trying to not cut our guest off, and I didn't want to like say, hold on, shut up for a second. I gotta push some sound bites, so I will get to them. I promise. And I feel badly, so if you bought a super chat, I will give you a special, extra, amazing, never before seen, life-changing shiz shout out after this. So let's do that now. And I know Not Jenna Cash sent one a long time ago, and I did not acknowledge it. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, girl. I never intended to hurt you this way, and I apologize profusely. Oh, we have our guest back. Hold on. Let me try to unmute. Hold on. Oh God, what did I do last time? Stand by. Hold on. I gotta click on this. And then I gotta click on this. And then I gotta click on this. Now we're good.
Sorry about that. My phone died.
Oh, you're good. I figured. I was like, you either dropped the call or it died.
Yeah. I don't even know what the last thing you heard was.
Well, I heard she was going to hitch the wagon to Dave was the last thing I heard.
Okay, yes. So I believe that Heidi thought she was going to hitch the wagon to Dave. I believe that she is completely and totally jealous of what all Rachel has, whatever, continues to kind of still have. Mm-hmm. She thought that Dave was going to be her ticket to the next level, even beyond what she had with Chris. And all that rug has been pulled out from under her. Yeah. And I think that, I mean, we've all kind of said it. Yeah, I think, she needs more help than a man can get. And dating yourself, that's, that sounds cute, but,
what about just being yourself? How about that? Let's start there. Let's just start being yourself. Let's forget about dating for 1 second.
Well, even that, why do you have to tell the whole world? Yeah. That, why do we have to publish this? But I mean, yes, definitely. She got some kudos. She got some love. She got some validation. She got, you're so great. You're so awesome. Now, so she was in the lobby for quite a while, probably half an hour-ish. And
after
when
the show. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I came out of the restroom and I saw the oldest son grab Heidi and bring her back in. And so I'm typing to Reddit. Did he look
happy? Was he like, kind of like, oh, I'm just working here, come back? Or was he like, Heidi, my girl, come back? Or was there any sort of like
indication? He didn't hug her or anything. He looked like having a 16-year-old son, he looked like an awkward 16-year-old son,
Okay.
Kid.
Got it.
I mean, he kind of had like a half smile, but you could tell he was being polite. But I didn't see them hug or anything. It was just, hey, come back. So I'm on my phone at this point, obviously, because I'm outside telling Raya, hey, Heidi just got pulled back, and could not have been 2-3 minutes tops. I think I hadn't even finished my posting of what was going on, and she was already back out in the lobby. So I'm sure he took her, hi, Rach, how's it going? Thanks for coming. Quick hug. And Rach is probably like, okay, we got to go. And she's out. So they weren't like having a 20-minute conversation or anything.
So now I feel like I'm going back to the other side of the camp where I'm like, I don't know, maybe Rachel didn't know about Heidi. I mean, she knew at the time because probably someone told her at one point, like she posted this whole thing and put a link and all this whole thing. But now, because like if they only talk for a couple minutes, I mean, that is either rude of Rachel for her to have like asked her, hey, can you please post about this? And then only give her a minute of her time. That's rude. Or then, maybe Heidi just ambushed her and like surprised her by this whole thing. And it's like awkward. And I would be awkward too to meet with an ex-girlfriend of my ex-husband. Weird.
I lean towards Rachel didn't know. I do believe that both of them never do anything without some intention or manipulation behind it. And it's usually business. Yeah. But Heidi won't even say Rachel's name. Heidi won't tag her. They don't even follow each other. There's nothing. I think Heidi decided, I think she just, you know what, I'm going to go. And
Yeah.
I do think, we don't know what's going behind the scenes with Tesla money, seeing kids. I do think she cared about Dave's kids. And
Yeah.
it probably, it does hurt her to not be able to see them. I think she just decided, you know what, I'm going to go. We'll see what happens. Hoping to maybe build a bridge with Rachel. I personally think Rachel is like, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with you. That's cool. You know what? You were my ex-husband's girlfriend for a while, but you're nothing. That's my opinion.
Well, and who knows what went on behind the scenes. I'm waiting for that book to come out where it's like, okay, on New Year's Eve, Dave did this and this is what really happened. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get those details of like what transpired in the last couple years, like that we don't know about. Because all we know is the little bit of anger coming from Rachel where she would like say something on the podcast and like allude to something but never actually say it. And then everything's amazing from Dave and Heidi all the time. So we don't know what actually occurred. Right. Yeah, I feel like, Heidi, that was just a mistake on their parts for like trying to blend the families that fast. That's what happens when you jump into something and try to have 1,000 kids interact with each other and all that. Now it's like, there's like, it's almost like a broken family twice. Like the family divorce, okay, that's traumatic and hard to go through as a kid. Then you get this like new family all of a sudden that you're with and traveling with and hanging out together, and it's a big brood and you're on social media and it's really exciting, and then all of a sudden that's over. And then all of a sudden now she's there at the venue. It's like a lot of drama going on in this family. I don't know who's to blame, or if they're all just like, stop putting it on social media for other people to consume it. Maybe that's the key.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you covered it the other day that it kind of seemed like in the very beginning they were all going to be the one big Brady bunch and Rachel was cool with it all. And then it suddenly cooled before the holidays. Like
something happened. Yeah.
And it may be just something. Dave crossed a line, Heidi crossed a line, who knows? And Rachel just said nope and drew a line in the sand. Because I definitely feel it's more Rachel's end, or Rachel's, not, I think Heidi would have wanted to be friends if she could.
Yeah, I suppose. I think you're right. I think she wants to believe that everyone loves me and I've never done a thing wrong, I think, or she doesn't want to think that she's been someone who's made a mistake, or I don't know. I guess she can handle mistakes, but I think she wants to be seen as like, I'm the bigger person. I'm someone who like empathetically cares about people, which she may do, think that she does, but I think maybe her actions are a little bit off, especially when it comes to the children, because she says she loves her kids, but yet puts them in these situations where they're being exploited on the internet. So it's like, you're not doing right by them, in my opinion, personally.
Right.
And the other thing too is, and who knows, like you never know who knows what or whatever, but like, Dave, they were together for a few years and he did go to rehab in between that time frame. You would imagine that she may have been at least knowledgeable about his struggles with addiction in some way, enabling perhaps, I don't know, maybe there's some bad blood there between Rachel and Heidi too, where it's like, hey, you were around during this time. He's now passed away from addiction. Did you do anything to help her? I don't know. That could be playing into it too. On both sides. Maybe Heidi feels that way about Rachel too. Like, why didn't you help him earlier? And maybe she feels, well, why didn't you help him now? Like, I don't know. It's not their job to help him, but I guess it's like just weird. Like, what did you see? And why were your kids there? Do you know about that with your kids? And
yeah,
complicated.
Exactly.
Complicated. But that's why it's interesting.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why we're sitting here talking about it for 2 hours.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you taking your time out of your night twice to first investigate this for us and for Reddit and for all of the Hollisville, fans out there. I don't know what to call us, the dark corner of the internet people. And then for coming on and talking about it. Yeah. Is there anything else? I know I asked it already, but is there anything else you could think of that, you thought was interesting?
No. I mean, like I said, it was actually, I don't think it was worth the money in the terms of, the length of time. I would have liked more questions and answers. It's like, why only
Yeah.
two?
Yeah.
Did I really expect her to touch on anything? No. The only reason I went at the last minute was because Heidi said she was going, and I wanted to see how that was going to play out. Was there going to be a new partnership? Was there going to be this? Was there going to be that?
It looks like a no.
Yeah.
It looks like an
and, but no, it was fun. I haven't done, honestly, I guess I followed Heidi's advice and I went on a date on myself alone, and, I haven't done that in a long time. So I guess she'd be proud of me.
There you go.
And yeah, I appreciate you listening to my, to my stories.
Anytime that you want to discuss Hollis related content, come back on and we'll do it.
Okay, you're really gonna make me want to fill my YouTube.
Yes, you should definitely have a YouTube channel. That is something I will say. Here's my life advice and my comedy shtick. You just gotta go for it, girl. Your dreams, you have a period, or maybe you don't. I don't know. But if you ever heard about periods, that just means that you can achieve your dreams. So therefore, you got this.
There you go. Now I just have to pay you $5.99 for that advice.
Yes, and
I did.
drinks.
I told you, I sent you a picture of Disney right before we went on, because I do have two cats, and they are named Disney and Tahiti. And I just thought it was ironic as I was sending you the picture, because to normal people, I say, yeah, this is Disney. Yeah, this is Disney. And then I realized as I was sending it to you, you're gonna say, why is your cat named Disney? But just quick story. Husband's Australian. I was American. We met playing a video game. We didn't talk to each other we did type chat, but we were just game partners for like 2 years. Some point we decided we wanted to date. We had to meet in the middle, and oh damn, the place to meet in the middle was Tahiti. So we went to Tahiti and met for. Thankfully it worked out. We got married.
Nice.
Went for like 10 days. And then because the Tahitian airport, it only flies one direction each day. So we would have had to leave 24 hours apart. So we booked it to fly to LA, and we went to Disney for a day.
Oh.
And then he flew home and I flew home. So that's my Disney and Tahiti story. So I have two cats. So my YouTube channel should be twice as good, I guess.
Yes, it should. And Tara must have heard you talking about your cats, because she jumped up on the desk immediately. She was like, Disney? I want to say hello. Say hello.
There you go. And Disney's sleeping.
She's clicking she's laying on the keyboard. Yeah, she must have heard her call. She's like, cats? That's for me. Well, we'll all subscribe to you when you launch your channel.
Okay, well, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the stream, and thank you for taking up so much, letting me take up so much of your time. And
you gave us the inside scoop.
It was really nice talking to you.
You too. Nice to meet you officially. Goodbye.
Yes, thank you. All right, bye.
Say bye, Taro. Say bye. So sweet. Aww. What'd you think, guys? That was cool. That was like I was trying to get my friend to do it so that we could have somebody come talk about it, and that just worked out great. Ah, good job. That was good. That was a lot of info. And she wrote it on Reddit too. Like, she gave the whole play-by-play. So we appreciate an interview. I like that. I want to do more. It gives me a break. I have my throat. I don't have to get my throat coat at night anymore. I wasn't talking as much. I love it. Okay, now for real, I am going to read the comments. Stand by. Taro, why don't you let me read the comments? This is her fault. Okay. Not Jenna Cash. Thank you to Not Jenna Cash from 7 hours ago. Not Jenna Cash says, rule number 1, don't talk about your kid's dad's D when your kid is in the room. Mother of the Year award goes to ... Yeah, that is weird. And it's also weird that Heidi also would presumably have been around that D. And and was also in the room for that discussion. So kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know why we're talking about everyone's genitals still in this day and age. So I'm with you, Jenna. I think that's a good rule of thumb. You should write a book. The 5 rules of comedy shows, your children, and sexual situations. And also, like I said, I moved these around.
Vacation labia. When it comes to our genitals.
There you go. She's got an answer for everything. And DC, thank you, DC. DC says, all the love for Kia's World. Thank you. And I saw another comment from you, DC, about the raid thing. I don't know how to do that. So I may have to figure out how to do that. I'll look it up later because...
This is gold, straight up.
You're leaving already? How sad. How sad of you. You can come back. She's like, the cat's discussion is done. I don't care anymore. And thank you, Albanese. Albanese says, well, do we think Rach is on her way to the top? I don't. I think, and this is, again, my biased opinion. I'm shocked at how many people still love Rachel, still want to defend her to the end of time, still say they are inspired by her stories, still say they're inspired by her stories now, listen to her podcast unironically. It always shocks me. But then again, like I said, there's still people who join MLMs every year. And they haven't been pierced by this type of content or anti-MLM content or anything. So I feel like... she's never going to be as big as she was before, I don't think. I think that was her time, her rise, and now she'll stay here forever, I guess, at this level. And this is, if I had succeeded, if I went to Phoenix and had 500 people show up in person, I would feel like on top of the world. So, I say it as she's unsuccessful, but she really is successful in the grand scheme of things still to this day. She just sold her house. Someone sent me her, the listing for the house, of her whole old house, the house that had Ronald McDonald in the kitchen in Texas, and it sold for like $2 million. So, she's got Dave's house that sold for some amount of money, probably in the millions, at least 1.5. She just sold her place for 2. So actually, no, Dave's is probably worth more because it's bigger. So she's probably just has now 5 million plus of liquid cash. She's got a boyfriend who's got money. She just bought a house in LA, and even shacks in LA are $1 million. So she's probably got a $10 million house over there. So, I mean, she's not doing so bad for, being canceled 70 times and continuing to have the basic of basic stories, but there's an audience and she is filling it. So who can argue with that, I guess? I mean, obviously I am not a fan for many reasons, but she does keep on trucking and attracting people. And I think there really is, though, I was in a sorority too, and there is that desire to put the blinders on sometimes and just focus on whatever you're trying to focus on. If you're trying to find a man, or if you're trying to have a baby, if you're trying to make a bunch of money or whatever, just don't even think about what could be bad about something. And you just go through life and you're like, okay, I'm going to listen to positive stuff. I'm going to, go to this woman who's, funny. Someone told me once. I'm going to go and go to her show. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. It's just I don't want to hear the negative criticism, and I will just decide for myself, but then never look at the negative stuff, I guess, is maybe a thought. An Arizona girl says, I forgot to tell you, I have been a regular Pancake member for 9 months too. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Arizona girl. I don't know if you want to reveal your identity here or not. I was keeping it quiet because I didn't know if you wanted to talk about your identity. So I'll leave it to you. But thank you. You are at that 9-month, that third trimester of the membership, and we appreciate that. And thank you for that comment.
Great comment. That's really cute. I love that.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking at the chat just to see if I've missed anything, which I probably did. Okay, Okay. Tara. Oh, Tara, you got so many emotes. They love you. And JL, your guest did great. Thank you both. I agree. I second that.
Jeez, this is so good.
That's what I was thinking the whole time when she was talking. I'm like, geez, this is so good. Also,
Are you freaking bonker pants?
we got lucky. We got lucky that we were able to have such an amazing guest on our show. On our show. It's a collective show.
Clear.
Everyone, let's just get an energy booster real quick, okay? Just one little energy.
Buzzing with joy.
What else? Did we go through everything? We can go through Reddit again just to see if there's anything that we missed. But basically, I think Salt Lake City sold out. So I think the excitement of the snarking will probably go down because the big draw of this one specific, I didn't even talk about this tour at all until Tuesday, only because Heidi was involved and it's just like too interesting to pass up. So I don't think the other ones are going to be nearly as exciting. They're probably going to be repeats of what we've already seen. This is what Rachel posted afterwards. She still has her comments turned off. Phoenix, thank you so much. Last night was a freaking epic way to kick off this tour. But the tour's almost done, isn't it? Well, I guess she's got more cities allegedly coming. Let alone 500 people who'd pay for tickets and find babysitters and sit in traffic and wait in line, all to come and fill the room with laughter and the most incredible energy. What an amazing gift to share that experience with you. I'm so grateful. Sure you are. But yeah, you know, I guess that's a nice sentiment. I guess it's a nice sentiment, I suppose. Let's go back to Heidi. Has she posted anything else? Oh, I guess I'll have to refresh because I'm in a different, yeah. Oh, she knows I'm on her stories. Okay, this is just through again. Oh yeah, so I was gonna maybe go through, not to go through these people's things, but like just to show you quickly that like, I think some of it was a business move on some of these ladies' parts perhaps, because they're like, I have a business I want to pitch or have help with or get a shout out on a influencer's page that has 500,000 followers. And so, because a lot of these are like, you know, perfectly set with a Heidi Powell, Rachel Hollis adjacent, you know, business. So yeah, like boss lady, like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this person. I don't even know who this person is, very small creator, but you know, seems like maybe it was a networking opportunity as much as it was an opportunity to, you know, go laugh and have a girls' night. It was like, I'm going to post it on there. I'm going to get people to tag and then they'll tag me and share me. And it's kind of like, that's the vibe. Like this person's a feminine embodiment, empowerment, dating and relationship coach. Now, okay, I'm going to raise an accusation perhaps, and maybe I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. JB, thank you, JB. JB says, celebrating 9 months in Pancake Breakfast Club. Thanks for the giggles. Oh, everyone is coming to term right now. This is awesome. I have to say this to you.
They act like they do no harm. They act like they're positive, and this is what they're up to.
That's what everyone's family members say about us. Watching this show right now. And also, JB.
The mango frequency.
That one's for you. Welcome to the mango frequency. Okay, so the person that was randomly selected by the universe to be Heidi's bestie for the night. Okay, I'm gonna accuse her perhaps of knowing that Heidi, because she already said she went because of Heidi, right? She says that in her own caption. What her services are seems to fit something that Heidi is going through right now, which is a traumatic situation. And on her page, she just so happens to be the founder of a grief and trauma company, apparently. Grief and trauma life coach, writer, wife, mom. So, I'm not saying that she was trying to go there to recruit Heidi as a customer. I don't know that to be true. She could have just been going for fun. It just is a little bit perfect divine intervention that she knew she was going there. You can obviously see her stories and all that. And yeah, it's just a little bit perfect for me. Like, oh, it's like if you saw someone that was like, just broke their knee and then you're like, I happen to be a knee surgeon. And you show up to the event and go, hey girl, oh my God, I know you need knee surgery. Wow, what a coinky dink. Okay, this is the new stuff Heidi's posted in the last 35 minutes. So, okay. Oprah content, some inspo. Oh God. I won't scroll up, but that's a Instagram that I follow that's like a new age binding. It's going to cure your ailments. Yikes. Close your eyes. Oh God. See, this is what's on my Instagram. It's just craziness. Craziness all over the place. Okay. Oh yeah, I have one video that I believe, okay, I feel very badly because I got all of my stuff confused because I sent it through my phone and then the names of who sent me stuff got mixed up. So I got, so let me go back to here. I got an email or I got a message and it was a link to a video and I believe it was from Kay. And the video basically is her talking about the show and going through it, but she had a really good, she had a very good, like breakdown of everything. Let me just check, hold on. And all those videos that I showed of like the screens and like actually in the venue, those were from Kay. Okay, let's see. Just checking. Yes, okay. Kay, you're here? Are you still here? Do you mind if we listen to your video? I just want to, I liked what you said about everything. You she went through all of the points. I think it's okay. And we can look at a cute cat as well. And then we'll wrap it up for the night. Let's see. Here we go. One more time. Everybody. Oops, maybe not. Here we go now. Here we go. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, sorry. Everybody's feeling fine. Here we go now. Yay. Okay, thank you for telling me that's okay. It's good. Now I don't have to worry about it. I would have been like in the back of my mind, what if she said no? Okay, so this will be a recap as well.
So I just got home from the show and I don't want to be on camera, so we're going to have my cat be on camera instead. This is Shadow. He's an elderly fella. The show was pretty boring. I only stayed to the bitter end because I was wondering if Rachel was going to acknowledge Heidi. She didn't. She ignored her. Heidi had been outside when I first got there working the line. There was actually a line to get in to see Rachel, which surprised me. And
thank you.
When I was in the line, quite a few women did say that they were there because of Heidi, that they were doing a date by themselves type of thing. And it actually did sound like some women ended up hanging out together and sitting together. And then at the very end of it, when people were leaving, I did hear some women say to each other, "It was nice to meet you," and then they went off alone. So I wonder if Heidi did give Rachel...
I just wonder what your cat's thinking. Why are you telling me this? I'm a cat. I don't conceive these people. Thank you. Go to the window. To the wall. Go to the window. Super sticker of a purple cat, which I think comes up as a black cat. There you go. Perfect. And for that I say...
It's so quantum.
It's so quantum of you. This is so cool. And also this very important message from our sponsor. You are now healed, everybody. Thank you. Go to the window. Okay, back to it. Back to Shadow, our second correspondent of the night.
A boost. The venue was
welcome, Amber.
600 people, and it was almost full. It was basically full. So the audience was white women. I don't know, 20s, 30s, maybe some 40s, all really well dressed, makeup and heels, and I guess dressed for Sunday brunch, how Rachel would like them to be dressed.
It's like, no way. Stop.
I took notes. There were not any real news stories. There wasn't. The whole thesis was, if you have periods and periods are uncomfortable, you can do anything you put your mind to. And that just really rubs me the wrong way, because trans women don't have periods. So I guess they don't count. I don't know. I don't like.
Or like anybody else other than like a very specific, like also like if you have a period, what about if you're past that time, your menopause, are you no longer able to do hard things? Or if you're a child or someone who just never got one, does that mean that you are incapable? I know I'm being facetious and it's a joke, but like, yeah, it is a little bit, I don't know, just specific, I guess. It's just kind of like, okay, that's not a real reason, really. Like, oh, you suffer through pain every month, so that means you are invincible. It's like, we have no choice, really, in this matter. It is what it is. Okay, stop talking about it. Thank you.
Like that. So, her oldest Jackson was in the audience helping. I'm looking at my notes now. I took some like scribbled notes.
Tell me more.
Yeah, the 2-drink minimum was extremely expensive. I did order a cocktail. It was $17, so I regret that.
It's like $17. You could have spent that on my catnip and new toys. Yeah, so that is the price of anything. Any liquid out or any appetizer is like $18 plus now. It's like crazy to go out anymore. Ugh, I hate it. I love going out to eat, but it's almost impossible now.
Looking at my notes, she told the same Raya story before, and she told the story about her first kiss with Kez. When she was talking about dating, she kept talking about how she's only seen one penis, which I thought was horrific. I just couldn't believe, and she said it multiple times that she had only, when she first started dating Kez, she had only seen one penis. I just really hated that. There was a lot of body shaming. I really didn't like her talking about how if she didn't have plastic surgery, her boobs would be ugly. As a woman who's never had plastic surgery on my boobs, I don't like hearing that my body's ugly.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm like, okay, so she's like, well, I would be disgusting if I didn't have plastic surgery, but I guess you're fine. It's like, yeah, it's like someone who's like, God, I'm so fat. And you look at yourself, you're like, okay, you're like way smaller than me. So what does that mean for me? You know? Or it's like, God, I hate myself. I'm just so ugly. I look like shit today. And I look at myself, I'm like, you look better than I do. Stop saying that. It's not making me feel good about myself. Yeah, so it's like that's self-deprecating, but it's really like, okay, but you judge. I mean, at least I do. I like look at the person like who's self-deprecating. I'm like, where do I fall on the spectrum then?
Looking at my notes.
I'm gonna pet your cat. Hi. I'm gonna be eaten.
When she talked about God, she said God. She never said universe or source. She went over the top with it.
I think her woo-woo days are numbered. I think she tested it. She market tested the woo-woo-ness, the hippie, better than you.
I'm going to send you so much love and so much light and so much good energy today because I feel like you need it.
I'm a big time hippie and I'm very woo-woo.
And finally,
I'm more of a hippie than you are.
Can you imagine being a hippie a competition? I think it's done. I think she's going back to boss babe. I'm a success story. Look, I made a multi-million-dollar business. I am a single mom, always have been basically. I came from nothing. I had no help. I am the best. I think she's back on that train. I feel it. She's done with the seed cycling, at least in her content. She might still be doing it, but I don't think she's going to stick to that. Maybe. That's my guess, just based on her not bringing it up at all at this podcast, conference, whatever, comedy show, whatever the fuck this is. Sorry.
The gross body humor. I mean, I've never heard her talk this over the top about it. She was talking about how she gets menstrual cramps in her vulva and her butthole, and maybe she does, but she went into, oh my God, the story was just so gross, and it wasn't funny, but she had the audience eating out of the palm of her hand. They loved it. They couldn't get enough of the gross body humor jokes. There was a joke about when she was 13.
I will say I do love a fart sound. So that is body humor, I believe, you know, in that way. But I need a little fart in my life, you know, just a little, once in a while, just to break the tension.
And had one of her first periods, and like what that happened, I didn't like that. There was a man in the audience she called out, and she talked to him the whole time and really singled him out. It seemed unnecessary.
I'm telling you this, she out of a room of women, she'll pick the man to talk to. That just seems to be her shtick. She's like, I'm a guy's gal. I like to drink whiskey. Like, okay. I think she just feels more comfortable. She feels comfortable as women as customers and men as equals. I think that's how she views the world, personally.
So I'm just looking at my notes. Of course, she talked about self-care, blah, blah, blah.
Smell my
how you have to work harder at self-care than 18-year-olds. Oh yeah, and if your body's over 25, then your body's ugly. And if you're under 25, you should appreciate it.
Sage advice.
What else was in my...
What do you think of that, Kitty? What do you think of that, Kitty?
Oh yeah, of course she brought up her toxic in-laws. I mean, for heaven's sake, they lost their son. Let it go.
Amen. That's what I think too.
She took 2 audience questions, and of course these audience questions were just an opportunity for her to talk about herself.
Shadow, go back.
It was really boring. People seemed inspired. I don't know, it was like a lot of rich white people. I mean, white women specifically.
White woman's Instagram.
There's this menu. I didn't look at it yet.
As a white woman myself, yeah, that seems to be the typical like audience for a white woman influencer, or other white women, from my experience, just seeing these events for the most part.
Fishbowl cocktail. She didn't drink on stage. She just had a can of water.
Come here.
Oh, what's this? Okay.
Replace Shadow.
Okay, so I hadn't actually read the six notes on it. A wash your face cocktail is vodka, ginger beer, and raspberry lime. Stop apologizing. Coconut rum, blue curacao. I think that's how you say it. And pineapple.
Yay!
3% chance. Melon fruit punch, flavored vodka. Start today. Tequila Blanca. I mean, you get the picture. Why not try our massive margarita? Oh, by the way, the cocktail I did order was completely watered down. And like I said, it was $17. Parking was $15. This was a very expensive night. I don't know. Maybe I should start a GoFundMe.
You should.
I don't think I'm leaving anything out. The notes I took. Oh yeah, she told a story about Noah that I thought was not necessary. I think the whole point of this story was to say that Kez is getting close to her kids. She said that a note was sent home.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't hear the story, and it seemed like our other guest was not as on board with that, perhaps, but like, or maybe, I don't know, but didn't get the same vibe immediately. But I agree with you, Kay, with this one, that I think that she does strategically put little things in place, like, I have the perfect life. I have the perfect life. Here's an example of that. So she doesn't have to say it explicitly, but it's implicit that like, oh, like he's close and he has a great relationship with my kids. And that may all be true, but it's also like important that she tells the public that, so that her persona remains pure.
From Noah's kindergarten teacher saying that she said the F word in class. And it turns out the F word is freaking because they're really serious about cuss words in Texas or something. And Rachel said that she overheard
Dagam. That's
asking
Heidi.
Kez, who of course she calls Kezi, to sign this paper.
Kezi.
And
Kezi.
then Kez was like, that doesn't sound right. I don't think I should sign it. So it was just like something to acknowledge that the parent knew that she had cussed in class. And then the next part of the story doesn't make sense, because then she says that Noah forged the signature and turned it in. And then she got another phone call about the forged signature. But it doesn't make sense, because if she overheard the conversation, then she would have just signed the paper. Why would Noah have forged it? It didn't add up.
Great
point.
point.
I think it was just a story to show that he's being part of the family now. And I am curious how someone like him feels about maybe becoming a step father to 4 kids who just recently lost their dad. It's probably not what he signed up for.
True. Who knows that though? I don't know.
Looking at my notes again.
They've been together for 2 years. He must know by now.
Heidi hung out in the audience after, and she got lots of attention, and she was talking to a lot of people. She seems to really thrive on that type of attention. When she was in line at the beginning, she was talking to a woman behind me who showed up alone, and she...
Oh yeah, this part is crazy. This part is like actually very interesting. And I didn't bring it up in the last one because like it was like a private conversation, not a private conversation, but like going on in the audience. So yeah, this part was like, what? Weird.
A woman behind me who showed up alone, and the woman said to Heidi, I'm so happy to see you here. I know you're having a hard time, especially since Dave died. And I know you guys weren't together at the end, but you still cared about him. And I was shocked by that, because I can't imagine going up to a public figure and being like, I'm just going to start talking about your biggest tragedy.
Yeah.
Seriously. But Heidi loved it. She was like, yeah, but the thing is, like, he was my best friend, and, you know, and the girl goes, I felt like he was my best friend too. And the whole thing was...
Okay, that's weird. Like... Okay, random person that you followed him on the internet. Like, Heidi did actually date Dave. Like, come on. Yes, he was my best friend too. No. I think Heidi was better friends with him than you were. I'm sorry to say, random person.
It's so poisonous. I got the creeps. I actually thought I would get a little starstruck by seeing Heidi and Rachel, but it was worse. Like, the creeps you get from their social media and whatever, it's 1,000,000 times worse in person. But I guess I'm kind of entertained that Rachel completely snubbed Heidi. Although I do wonder if there was some kind of behind closed doors deal, because I have a feeling Heidi brought in a lot of people. So maybe she
I believe that too.
Maybe she didn't.
I think she brought at least 100 people.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Woo! That was good. And now we're going to watch a Savannah video. Just kidding. I'll watch that later. Yeah, so that was an interesting overheard convo, for sure. Not surprised. I mean, that there is already like in Heidi's group, I feel like there was so many boundaries over, not even set in the first place. And people were like becoming employees after like worshiping Dave and Heidi, and it was weird and they didn't disclose it. And like they're commenting on everything, and all the groups are best friends and we're going to do all this stuff together. And Heidi's hugging them all and like, you guys are saved my life. And it's just like, but I'm going to charge you $250 anyways. It's like, okay. Very weird behavior, very scary and very risky behavior, especially when you have children, to like be so open. And I know she would say like, well, I just trust because I'm such a good person. I trust people. It's like, yeah, but one day, it only takes one time to screw it up and your life's over, or you're in danger, or your children are in danger. And it's like, you got to be careful with that stuff. You can't just be inviting people to your house. You can't just be like, I'm going to be at this venue at this time. Like Christina Grimmie, that's like a person from the Voice, I believe. She was at a concert, and every time I think about it, I'm like, people that post where they are, in real time, I'm like, you're opening up the door for some, and I know that's someone who's like in concert, so that's different, but like, if that person could figure out like, okay, I'm going to go there and kill her, I just always find it to be like, how are you going to post like where you are with your children and then not think that that is possible? That definitely could happen. People have stalkers on the internet all the time with no warning. It's happened before. So I don't know. It just freaks me out. And she posts like so much about like her kids at high school. It's like, I see the entire school name. It's like, what are you doing? Be careful. And yes, nothing's happened yet, but like I said, it takes one instance for something to go wrong, or one person that has the information that they don't need for that to go overboard. So it's just like when you set no boundary, when you really are just so open with yourself and whatever, you need the adoration so badly, it's like, it can't be good, overall healthy for you. Anyways, okay, I'm going to go now. I'm going to sing my song, Little Terry. I never call her Little Terry. Little Taro and I are going to be singing together and singing/storytelling, because I'm a storyteller. I actually, not ironically, call myself a storyteller like fairly often still. Less so lately, but I have. I'm not going to lie. But a journalist is a storyteller in so many ways, right? Right, Kitty? She just got her another dose of flea medicine. Her first dose this month. Her dose this month, but she's itchy. It's making me itchy too, to be honest. I think her little skin flakes get in my face. Then I start getting itchy too. Okay, it's time to sing and hang out with the Pancake Breakfast Club. Also, if you want to join the membership, you want access to emotes, custom emotes. I don't know how many we need for the next one. I'm scared to look. It changes every month. So, but new emotes will be coming at some point soon, hopefully. And even if, like I said, even if they don't hit the amount, because you have to hit a certain amount of members to unlock another open one, I'll just start swapping some out. We can have like a rotation. Because I feel like I'm clicking. Because default. Yeah, that one. Yeah, right now we need 47 more. But then 47 more have to, again, let's say someone gave 50 people join right now, even the lowest tier. You can join any tier. Let's say 50 people do it. If I don't make an emo immediately and then tomorrow people leave, then I have to go back and get back to the number that it requires. So it's like, it's very, it forces you to sell a lot. So YouTube is smart in that way. So yeah, I think the best thing to do for a while is just to, I like making the new ones. So, and make them custom. And also GIFs. Again, I have access to GIFs now that can play and pop up. So if you have a GIF idea from a moment during the stream or something funny, let me know. DM me on Instagram. Here's my Instagram. Hold on. And then merch is available. See it below. Still working on that in the background. I have so many like projects I got to work on, but I got to do my job, my real job, my full-time job first. Unfortunately, I've been so behind lately. Anyways, I'm going to start complaining. I'm going to be happy in my pants, and I'm going to pee in them.
Peed my pants.
And then I'm going to do a 2.
I do number 2
in my pants. Because I can. That's what my idol, Rachel Hollis, told me.
Oh shit, there's shit on the pillow.
Thanks, Matthew. Okay, goodbye. Time for fun song time now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Me and Taro on the town. We're not gonna let you down. We're gonna sing one more song. 'Cause it's a starry night in the sky. Starry Night's our favorite guy. Yes, he is. Nicole Campbell cracked open a soup can one day and had herself some celery soup. And she was healed instantly from all of her ailments. Heather DeMaio slathered some mayo on a sandwich. She was not healed. You know why? You know what was missing? Celery. And you know what it had in it? Eggs. So she was actually hurting herself. But little did she know, a consul was there with a cure for all the egg problems. It's more celery is the solution. Thanks, A consul. And Tiffany went to this event that we just discussed in Arizona, and Tiffany had a grand old time. She ordered the 3% alcohol drink. It cost her $37.39. That's a magical angel number, in case you didn't know. Alaska Blood Tundra was also in the audience, way in the back, monitoring the scene from the rafters. And when they heard that hypothetical scenario that men could get their periods, boy, they laughed and laughed. Ha ha ha. Crystal G didn't laugh. She was actually the planted man in the audience that they called Lance. But little did they know it was actually Crystal G. And Crystal G was sitting there pondering her life choices. And Lindsay Walden was working the floor at the comedy show, trying to upsell people to get the chicken finger basket at the Rachel Hollis Comedy Hour. But as soon as the period clot story got there, everyone started throwing up. And so no chicken nugget baskets were sold after the first hour. And Kim Possible 11, she was that clot. She is the physical clot that Rachel was discussing. In human form. I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but symbolically, maybe. I don't know. And Charlotte is symbolically a wax strip sitting on Rachel's bedside, waiting to be utilized soon. But she will wait until the day comes. She prays and wishes to the universe of she that she'll be utilized in some useful way. But that remains to be seen. Oh boy. And Joms, oh, what can I say about Joms? Joms, once again, the true idol, the true comedian that we all line up to see in Phoenix, Arizona in the 150-degree heat. Down the block, down the street, up the mountains, we'll wait for that day. I'll even buy 3 drinks, okay? 3 Diet Cokes and cherry for that show. And casual pasta, it's not a formal penne. It's a casual pasta. It's a very specific thing that you can order only at comedy shows. You got chicken finger basket, filet mignon, or casual pasta. And it's delicious. Highly recommend. 5 out of 5. Carasota wanted to order something at this comedy hour. She was gonna get the not emotionally stable sausage roll. And it was delicious. Heather Hope wanted to buy it's a first time for everything escargot egg roll. Yum, yum, yum. She ate it all up. And not Jenna Cash. I'm sorry again for ignoring your super chat earlier. I appreciate you, girl. I appreciate you. Thank you. Not Jenna Cash ordered the bold-faced lie lasagna, and it was a hit. It was only $57. What a steal. And Blaze Goddess, what did you do? Blaze Goddess was not at this show. Blaze Goddess was outside the Cheesecake Factory waiting for it to open. Right behind Lisa. And finally, Alice in Wonderland 66. They were in the Upside Down, through the rabbit hole. They weren't even in this universe. They're in a totally different scenario with the Cheshire Cat and such. So they don't even know what we're talking about right now. They're like, what? I've just been in an alternate universe. Who is Rachel Hollis? And I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. When someone in my life asks me that, I say the same thing. Don't worry about it. It takes too long to get into. You're better off not knowing who she is, who any of these people are. You somehow avoided this thing that's taken over my life in a good and bad way. You're lucky. You better stay that way. Stay isolated in your bubble. It's the best place to be. Yeah, that's where I want to live. Ignorant to everything that has to do with this. How I wish to be that way. One day. One day. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for sticking it with me. Toodaloo. See you next time. Bye.